Yeah, we should be there, I think.
It
Are we there?
looks like it.
We're here.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah.
We arrived.
Ta-da.
So, hello everyone. This is the first time I think in a while that we've streamed twice in the same day, which was super
Welcome
great
back.
because earlier we did a D&D game with Katrina, run by Taylor from the Con Save.
Yep.
Blair and Kelly were all involved in it too, so it was like a really fun foray into what was the name of the module? Or not
Midway,
module.
it's Heckna.
Heckna, there it is.
Heckna.
Yeah.
Very creepy. It's a very creepy place. It was really fun. It was Taylor's running it. Blair, Kelly, David's wife, and I are playing in it, and it was super fun.
Yeah.
We had a great time, and it's airing here, or it aired here, and then it will be on Consave's YouTube on Tuesday.
Yeah, they've set it to premiere and everything, so that'll be really great to see. And let's see here, other stuff on the HSG / Save front. Let's see here. On Wednesday, we're going to be running Red Markets. Mike over here is going to be running it, which is our zombie horror, economic horror game. Our characters decided to, the long trek we took wasn't enough. We wanted to do one more long trek to
we were sort of required to
get extra things.
We had options.
Yeah,
none of them good.
Yeah, we chose the path of hopefully less violence. That's the deal there, and we'll see how that works out on Wednesday. And then
that never works out well for our groups,
no.
right? It never. Anytime that we choose the path of less violence, it ends up being the path of violence.
Yeah,
it's all fun and games until somebody in the group gets bit, right? Somebody in the group got bit, so there.
Yes. The right person got bit, really. If someone had to get bit.
There's never a right person to get bit.
Hey, I'm still down like 6 fucking kill boxes of right leg damage. So
yeah. And that doesn't come back quick.
No.
Oh man. So yeah, that's what we're up to. And on, let's see here, Friday night, this coming Friday, I think is our off Friday. So yeah, every other Friday we do Mass Effect with the Consave. So we're like playing a bunch of games with them now, which is a lot of fun.
Just to call it out, the Consave has Tomb of Annihilation on Thursday.
Thursdays is their 2 minutes. See, I thought
every other Tuesday. Every other Thursday.
Got it. Don't they do AGON on Tuesdays?
Well, they haven't recorded, I think. For a bit.
Gotcha. So they gotta wait a little bit. I got it.
They record those so that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So, yeah, those are all the announcements that I can think of now. We do have some stuff brewing for Gen Con. Tomorrow night or tomorrow day is the Gen Con housing portal. So if you're somebody who is planning on going to Gen Con, check your email, get your housing portal thing, and go forth and conquer. Oh, hey, what's up, Don? Welcome. So yeah, I think that's it. Ethan, you're kind of scaring me a little bit that our Aegon game is the curtains are starting to get closed.
I don't know.
Yeah. So this is your show now, man. You tell us what's going on.
Okay. Well, yeah. So the last time we left off, you all finished your work on the island of Cordia, reforging the shears of the fates and all that good stuff, and maybe changing a couple things. Some of you with permission, others without permission. And yeah, and a lot was done to sort of like make the island better. A few people, had to pay the price for that, but that's all fair. It's fair based on what they had done, right? So we had Euphemia, who had murdered the premier sheep herd of Cordia, now having to sort of collect the knowledge of all of the sheep herds of the island and pool that into sort of this guide, so that all sheep could be worthy of the looms of the fates, and to keep more murders from happening in that regard. Yeah. Kelos is helping out the fates with the whole a bunch of people died and couldn't die because nobody could cut their strings of fate. So he's helping with that, trying to make sure everybody ends up where they need to be, and doing all that. He's doing a lot of actuary work, basically. He's just going around and like, okay, well, he's basically the new accountant of fate, whether he wants to be or not.
It's good. It's good for him.
Yeah, and then poor Spiridon. Spiridon from a strange land now wanders in the Forgotten Gorge, caught in reverie of futures that will never come to pass. But and that's what happened on Cordia. But you guys made it out, and you sailed on, and you filled a couple constellations last time, I think, at least one, to where now you have the 3 you need to go home. And so this time, as the sort of path of stardust illuminates your path in the direction you should go, it is brighter than it has ever been. And for a moment, the mists, you cannot see them anymore. They recede to the point that you cannot see them. And the only thing you can see around you is the sea and the stars. And all of you feeling, a bit hopeful now at this sort of change, because normally the mists are ever present. You can always sort of see them, but this time they've receded to where you don't even hardly know they're there. You all sail on and go to bed, have a nice rest. But when you awake, you don't find what you were hoping to find, which is the sea. You're not sure exactly where you are, because you find that your ship, instead of upon the seas, sails upon a sea of clouds. And as you look over the edge of the ship is just buzzing with activity as everyone's going around trying to figure out what's going on. Because as you look down, you see just a sea of clouds upon which your ship sails, and then below that you see the vault of heaven, as you now sail even above it. You can see stars twinkling dimly, and in the far distance, a shimmering mountaintop pierces the clouds. And you notice that atop this mountain that you see far below you is a sort of glowing palace that many of you would recognize by legend or by visions or what have you, that you are looking down on Olympus itself and sailing above it now. But you also notice
with us. We could just drop him off.
Just drop him. Yeah, just shock trooper Prometheus onto Olympus. But you turn and you actually see that ahead of you an even greater peak rises. A green and lovely mountainside dotted with spotless white buildings, and at the summit, a massive crystal basin that catches a waterfall flowing from the firmament above you. And this is our last island. There is no leadership contest here, nor can you feel the guidance of the gods. And as you arrive on the island, you receive no signs of them, or from them. So for this island, there will be no leader, and there will be no signs from the gods.
Okay.
So we're a bit beyond that.
Level with me, Phaedras. Are we lost?
Sure, this is fine. We just need a couple minutes to get our bearings. The sundial here seems to say it's 17 o'clock, so things are a little weird, but we can get this under control.
This happened to me once.
You're muted, Michael.
Didn't you say that everything was fine? You just needed a few minutes to get your bearings when we went into the mist the first time?
Oh, ouch.
It's okay.
Ouch.
This
We
happened to
got
me
our
once.
bearings. Look, we're back out of the mist, right?
Yeah.
When did it happen to you?
I was in the
Zena?
woods. I'd been hunting. I was starving. So I ate anything I could find. And there was this time when I was in the clouds for days, it felt like. It was the
When you
most
were
serene
starving,
feeling.
were you like hunting down birds and deer, or were you like, foraging for mushrooms?
I mean, when I had intended to, kill a boar, but hunger got the better of me. I just grabbed whatever I could get.
You would
And,
think a son of Demeter would know a poison mushroom when they saw one.
starvation does strange things to a person, and I'm glad for it. I've known serenity that no one else has seen to my knowledge, except for now. We were all together in this, and I don't know that any of you have eaten any mushrooms lately, but it's just
I mean, it doesn't sound like the ones you got into were poisonous. Just maybe enchanted. We'll call them enchanted mushrooms. They're imbued with magic.
Blessed by the gods.
How is
I
the
would say.
crew handling this drug-addled trip we seem to be on?
The
Yeah.
crew is kind of like rushing about and like looking over the edge of the ship. A few of them are like kind of fastening ropes to the side and
No.
like lowering people down to just see if it's even water. And it seems that it is some kind of like buoyant thing, but no one dares to cut a rope and to attempt to swim lest they be left
Hilarious.
behind.
Mama
Hilarion has
Makaria.
definitely thrown something overboard.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a person. Mama Makaria is coming around, getting all the children back on the ship. No.
It started with a bucket,
Don't know.
and if that floated, did the bucket float or did it just disappear?
It floats but eventually sinks beneath the clouds.
Oh, well, then now we're gonna throw a bench.
Makaria or Hilarion. Please stop throwing.
Some
our things
island
off
is
the
very
boat.
confused right now
Yeah.
as they're just getting
Yeah.
tilted by random items that fall
Yeah.
from the sky.
He's looking for something that floats to see if it's a floaty thing.
Well, the bucket would float.
It's a
But
bucket. It holds water. This is a gift. This is a sign from Poseidon.
It's a
But,
witch.
a bucket could fill full of water and then sink. So maybe it just, it's just under the surface that we can't see. We need something very buoyant. So, he's running around looking for something to throw overboard.
Makaria just make sure that none of the sailors are doing
Oh.
falling.
I'll give Hilarion a length of rope.
Yeah.
Uncle.
50 feet of rope.
Yep. No. Just to put the rope in. Rope floats.
Rope floats. Oh, okay. Yeah. Things that should float, they do for a time, but eventually do sink below.
I need a hook.
For what? Skyfish?
Skyfish.
Shouldn't we be worried about maybe the island and what is most likely Mount Olympus?
Hilarion you've lost him. He's looking for a big hook. He's going sky fishing.
Hilarion is experiencing what we call a crisis. There is no great hill for him to roll down. For we are
He
There's
could-
one great hill.
suspended.
There
You
is
guys
the
are sailing
greatest
towards.
hill in all
Yeah.
of creation.
But it is
Well,
too far.
That hill rolls down to Olympus.
Yeah,
It's-
you can
It
see
is the
Olympus is
greatest
down
hill
below you,
possible.
Yeah.
and then there's this mountain, and you're like, "What is this?"
But it is far away. It is way over there.
Yeah, Mount Olympus is way below the clouds, mostly hidden. You only catch glimpses of it every now and again, and it is in the distance. So there's stars between you and Mount Olympus.
So
But then
We're
there's
gonna
this big mountain that you're looking
this comment comes from not Makaria, because Makaria would not make this comment, but I must. Think of the cannonball the splash that you could have, Hilarion.
Yes.
Oh, Hilarion.
Makaria would not make that comment. That is an NPC somewhere.
There was it did a right turn, and but we don't have cannonballs, do we? Because we don't have cannons. But
Boulder
Give
boulder
those-
ball. Boulder,
I-
boulder
you would have
splash.
I mean, I don't know when the trebuchet.
There's a
was
name for that
invented,
kind of
but-
dive somewhere. Yeah.
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 Yeah. But yeah, and as you all continue to sail, eventually you reach a pier that is, built onto this cloud sea. When you arrive at the island, you are greeted by just this crowd of people. They are all young and radiant in the sun's light, and they greet you with joyous celebration. And some of them are like, visitors. We haven't gotten visitors in. Well, I don't think we've ever gotten visitors, actually. Well, welcome. You seem great heroes. Here, come, feast. And like you're just pulled by this crowd, like up through their city. All of these buildings are made of like white marble, and they're absolutely spotless. You cannot find a mote of dust on this island. The streets are paved, and they lead you up to this acropolis that sits not at the top of the mountain, but sort of halfway up at the top of their sort of settlement. And they begin to serve you this bountiful feast, just food unlike anything that you've ever had before in your lives. And they bring you, there's this jug of water that they bring and pour, and as you take a sip of it, you feel completely satisfied and find that you need not even breathe if you don't want to. That this, whatever this strange water is it completely provides for you all that you need. But they continue to bring you food and things, wine, things for pleasure, not for sustenance.
Where are we?
Oh, and they say, sorry, this is the Isle of Caeconia, where all of the greatest artisans in perhaps all of creation live. And you can see as you look around, there are several people who are painting, and they're painting portraits of you all. Just these extremely elaborate portraits, and others are, kind of looking over to you and, chiseling marble into statues in your image. And with great speed, just works of art are being created. And as the crew members tell stories, they're, composing songs and singing them of the deeds of the crew, and poetry is being recited. And this is largely what happens. And then, even others are engraving your deeds upon plaques of gold. And this celebration of you, and just celebration of art in general, continues. You get the idea that these people do this pretty much every day, that this is the first time they've had something new to compose art to, other than just the land that they live in. And so they're sort of taking their time, enjoying their new muses, I suppose. But yeah, and this is how the rest of the day will go. Is there anything you all want to do during this day of feasting and celebration?
Hilarion has one very important thing he needs to find out.
Mm-hmm.
When we pulled up to the pier,
is
it clouds to the edge?
Yep.
Or is there water?
Clouds.
He's asking everybody he's met, have you ever thrown anyone off? What happens if you get tossed off the edge?
When you ask people that, they kind of look at you a bit strangely, just like, why would we? No, we.
Well, I mean, if it was water, you could wade in and swim, but it's clouds. Like, what's on the other side? Like, can you?
You get one artist who looks at you and says, I've painted many a landscape of the cloud sea that surrounds our island, but never once have I. Why would I go swimming in it?
Have you ever thought that you could be the only person to paint the underside of this island?
That could be interesting, but I don't
know.
I've never had the time. Rope? There is plenty of rope.
Rope, a good solid point to secure you to, and we could dangle you off, and you could paint probably the most glorious picture ever. No one would have seen the view that you would see.
Okay, so the problem I'm seeing there is that I will be inside the clouds, and I don't know if you've ever been inside clouds before, but it's quite hard to see. You cannot see very far. I would not, and my paints would get all wet.
No, that's why we need a lot of rope. We can lower you below the clouds.
But then I would be in the sea of stars, and that's an entirely different problem.
But from that point of view, it could be amazing.
It could, or I could be dead.
We'll pull you back.
To
Somebody
ask
get
you
me
a
rope.
question, so you know that you're above the Vault of Stars.
Is that what it's called?
Yes. And you're above it, and no other island is. Do you know why that is, or does someone here know why that is?
We've always been here.
Okay. All right. And you can always look upon Olympus?
Oh, is that what that is?
You don't
What is
even know
Olympus?
of.
What
Are
do you
the
call
gods not
yourselves?
aware that you're up here?
Oh,
We could throw things at Olympus.
No, we cannot.
Hell yeah, we
if you
can.
could throw that far, it's pretty distant.
There is such a mom voice. There was so much mom voice right there.
I
Throw
suppose
things at Olympus like Nathal.
Do you not know of Olympus?
No,
Of
what is-
Zeus? Of Hera?
Who are these people? Are
Hades.
they artists? What have they created?
They're gods. Deities?
Prometheus?
Z- z-
Anybody? No.
Xenon holds up his hand to the crew. What do you call yourselves?
Well, we have little need for such things as that within our community. We're simply the inhabitants of this island, but in some of the older records, the primordials, I think, was a name that was given to us fancifully some time ago. A poet of some renown.
Okay. And may I see some of the other creations that you have busied yourself with before our arrival?
Oh, well, we began shortly after your arrival. You arrived this morning. We begin in the morning, and then we, create until the evening, and then we sleep.
What about yesterday morning?
Probably the same.
Do you have any works from yesterday that we may gaze upon? I'd love to see the other works that you've created.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
Xenon kind of looks at the crew like, okay,
Well, we thank you for the bounty and your hospitality. Primordials. That's
And you will
Interesting.
notice, you notice that there's something in their eyes that's a bit familiar. And you've seen it maybe once or twice before. Once you saw it in the eyes of Spiridon. These sort of almost like gold flecks in the iris. And you remember now that Spiridon mentioned this homeland that he couldn't quite recall that he had come from some time ago, this land above the clouds, this
Artists.
cloud white sea. And the other, you start to kind of look for it now, and Xenon, you notice that in Nicarchus's eyes are these same flecks of gold.
wasn't there the guy who's involved with the big drill? Didn't he have special eyes?
Perhaps he did. I don't remember if I said
Special
that, but
eyes.
that would make sense. I mean, I think the guy who built the drill, Casibios, you never saw what his actual eyes looked like.
Right, because he was
He was already
more,
he was a
yeah.
hull.
Yeah, he was more clockwork than man at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Phaedras, you notice that Nicarchus is kind of sort of pensive, looking around, like a bit, almost like he's experiencing a lot of deja vu on the one.
Everything okay there, Frank?
Just this place is familiar to me.
Any idea why?
No.
If you anything sparks any recollections, you let me know.
I think it's the verse, the poetry. It reminds me of my own, which is bit uncomfortable. But
Understandable. Phaedras abound in this world. Pat him on the back. Come back to the rest of the year.
yeah. But yeah, the feasting, the celebration, the creation of art continues until the sun starts to go down. It starts to drop below the clouds, and then someone will stand up and sort of clap their hands and say, "Well, the sun is set. Great visitors, you are welcome to stay in." Well, there are several homes that have been built here, actually, that no one lives in. So you may stay in those or rest upon your ship that you arrived on. But you are more than welcome to stay for as long as you like. We like to keep things, we like to be well rested for the morning. So we were all going to go to our homes and go to sleep for the evening. But you are welcome to do as you wish. And the primordials kind of start. Some of them that are like far away from you guys have already sort of like exited the Acropolis and seem to be heading home. As the like sunset is like just blasting the side of the island.
And is there a village or a city's worth of homes?
I would say it's enough to fill kind of like the bottom half of this mountain that kind of sticks above the clouds.
Okay.
So I mean, it's pretty sizable, but it's not like it's not Athens size, you know.
Right. And the numbers that were with us,
they all fit in this large feasting.
Okay.
You know, you get the idea that most everybody on the island was there.
Okay.
But that doesn't seem to jive with like the number of houses.
Yeah, there seem to be a lot of empty houses.
There's a lot of houses and like some people.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's a lot of houses and then like a good bit of people, but it would be like if one person lived in every house, then you'd still be at like 75% capacity as far as like the number of houses that there are. So there's a little bit of disconnect there between. But they all begin to take their leave.
I'm not sure I like this.
I'm very sure I don't like this.
I want to know more.
I do too.
I
But
agree with that as well.
how do they not know what they did the day before if they know the sun sets?
Maybe it's.
I don't know, but I know finding out is going to be terrible.
Come, Phaedras. It's not that bad.
This water they fed us that sustains these people and us. Can I ascertain where it came from? Like, is there a spring?
You can ask, and one of the primordials will say, "We gather it from the basin at the top of the mountain.
Okay.
It is a gift to us from the firmament itself."
From the mountain.
From the firmament. And he points and you look up and you can see from like this weird, it's not the, there's no stars. So it's like with just this almost like dome, you can't really see where it ends or begins, but there is water that just falls from somewhere above you into this crystal basin atop the mountain.
Like the snow cone.
Whoa.
It's not like a dome. It's not. I don't want to give the impression that it's like a dome that you can see. It's just you can't see anything. It's just like sky
There's
color,
just,
and there's water that falls from somewhere.
Coming. Okay.
And you can't see from where it's coming.
Got it. Okay. And man, all right, fair enough. What to do with that? So it spills into the basin. Does it then go anywhere else? Does it fall further
yeah,
down
you
the
can
mountain,
see that it kind of like overflows, and there's like a waterfall that goes all the way down the island and then off the side down through the clouds.
Okay. And are there any other creatures up here, or is it just people?
Just people, as far as you can tell. But you haven't really been outside of the like city.
Right.
there's like forest in the top half of the mountain. Very like
Yeah,
dense
but there's no
wild forest.
pigeons or any of that kind of like, you know,
No.
what is it? Vermin.
Right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely no vermin.
Yeah. But if it's a city, yeah, usually there's vermin. So good to.
Not when it's light out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Okay.
Are we allowed to leave the city?
No, you may go where you wish.
Fantastic.
As they like kind of make their way into the city, I think Xenon would walk with them. And just like be a part of the procession or a passenger to the procession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, people. Yeah, go ahead.
And just I want to see, you know, are people pairing off, or do people just kind of like turn down alleyways and turn down streets, and I never really see any of them really go home. I just want to be. I just
you
kind of want to
see-
watch how it happens. You know, this is a very unsettling place, so I'm going back to basics.
Yeah, you.
Do they open doors or do they float through them? Like, what's
Oh,
gonna happen here?
Yeah, no, you see people they're like chatting and talking, and you see some of them will be like, you know, oh bye, then they'll split off and go into homes. Others are kind of like they continue talking and then they stop as if to go into houses, and they're like, actually no, and then they like go and they will go into the same home or something like that, at like varying numbers. But essentially people are just like enjoying each other's company, and if they would like to continue that into the night, they do. If they don't, then they go home. Like it seems like everyone has the choice to just do as they please.
Neat. And yeah, I don't know that Xenon really wants to leave this place with that kind of like ease. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go pick a place and just see what it's like.
Yeah. You go in and there is a finely furnished home. There's no like food or anything, but you don't feel hungry. But there are places to make food. Like there's all the equipment that a house should have, and you could probably find there are markets with like unspoiled like ingredients, like fruits and vegetables and meats and things like that just kind of sit that are covered for the night. That you could go and get ingredients and cook if you wished, but you don't really feel the need to per se.
Okay.
So they said the water comes from the dome itself.
It comes from somewhere above them. To your vision, it looks kind of like a dome just because it's just sky color in all directions, but it's not actually like anything physical that you could touch. It goes on forever, essentially. It is the firmament. That is what it is called, and that is how they refer to it, as a firmament. Think Genesis.
What are we to do? Well, Xenon has already left us, so.
Marion's busy.
Oh God. Makaria is
The
busy
children have all become
ignoring.
unattended. Yes, it's like.
Yeah. Oh, is Phaedras Marion? Because.
No, he didn't notice that Valerian slipped away. He's still, Phaedras is definitely still puzzled about this place and what we're supposed to be doing here, because in the past it's been not necessarily clear, but like clear that there was a thing that we were tasked with doing, and here we didn't get the quest marker, and
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on, I gotta put
like
you guys
they seem to completely ignore the rest of the canon entirely.
Mm-mm.
There we go. I forgot to put you guys on the right page in the Roll20. You just have to look at that.
Ooh, dang.
Interesting.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah. So, is anyone have anything else they would like to do before? Before night falls?
Valerian is doing something.
What's
Of course he is.
Well, first he went and found a number of bricks.
Okay.
And then he went back to where all the food was and got a nice white tablecloth. And then, since there's all this art happening around, surely he could find some paint.
Mm-hmm.
And he has, in very large letters on one of the tablecloths, written, "Dear Zeus, I can see your house from here. Hugs and kisses. Love, HIL." That's crossed out, and then it says Phaedras. And then
You really want to put the mortal in trouble here? Maybe it should be Xenon. Just saying.
Why me?
Because I don't want it to be me.
You have Hades on your side.
and if anybody wants to spot him as he's walking out to go down towards the beach with this brick
I'm not present to stop you.
and a cloth.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who wants to see Hilarion do this can, but
If not, he's just gonna see if he can't make that hit Olympus.
yeah. Olympus looks like
I would love to show up too late to stop it, but see what happens.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Olympus is far, far below you. It is also some great distance away. So you can throw it
Bunch of
towards
clouds,
Olympus.
man.
You
Things
can throw it
float.
towards Olympus, but it will fall before it's not going to fall on top of Olympus. Basically,
He's gonna
You're
get
great heroes of myth.
That's right. It's a great hero of myth. We're talking about floaty cloud stuff. You know, he's going to put like 2 or 3 bricks in the middle of this, wrap the cloth around it, get a nice discus swing through it, and launch that bad boy. Maybe at Olympus, maybe he'll miss and hit one of the houses behind him. I don't know. But
Oh my god.
yeah. I mean, I think you just hurl it into the cloud sea.
yeah,
And it like kind of hits, and then you see it like kind of almost like dip and then fly up again, and then just go into it, like almost like it skips, and then it goes in, and you can see as it falls through, and you can see it hurling through the stars to
Yes.
somewhere. You lose sight of it because it eventually just kind of like flares up, and it looks like it is a star. So you're like, is that a star or the thing I threw? I'm not sure. They're all moving very fast at this point.
see, now Hilarion's just throwing things off the side because he's making stars. This is, I mean,
Wow.
Yeah. anything
Makaria
else?
stayed on the boat.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of watching over the flock of
I think
sailors.
Hilarion would head back to the boat, but he would notice that there are all these very nice buildings, right? He is definitely going to loot a few.
Okay, there's, I mean, anything you would want. Like, the furniture is finely carved with, like, gold inlay. Like, these people seem to have no concept of wealth or what, like, everyday items should be made of, because they just make, like, every piece of furniture is a piece of art. And
Gonna
every...
get a really nice bed
Mhm.
and a really nice frying pan.
Yep,
And that's what he's taking back to the boat.
done. The bed might be a bit difficult to get out the door.
Yeah.
You're not getting that onto my ship. There's no room for that.
The
I
council,
appreciate how comfortable I am sure it is, but
Yeah.
there's all
not a
the rest of the
huge bed.
crew of the Rogue Wave, and everybody
All-
needs to be able to fit
All
on
of
the
the
ship.
beds are like king or larger. They're like these lavish, like huge affairs. Like no one is sleeping in a twin bed in Kikonia.
That's okay. So then, in that case, he's going to get a very nice, very nice pot or frying pan or thing as a gift for his wife, and then he's gonna head back to the boat. And if he sees any toys, he's gonna look for toys.
You can see there are definitely things that resemble toys. They don't look like they were necessarily made for that purpose, but they're like small carved things and like fine dolls stitched from like various fabrics and things like that.
So anyone who sees Hilarion, or anyone on their way back to the boat, is going to see Hilarion looking very much like the father in the airport shopping areas who forgot to get toys for his kids on his way home.
Mhm.
And he's picking up gifts. He's at the airport gift shop. You know. And
You know what little Billy would really like? A Hard Rock Cafe Minneapolis shot glass. Right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So dolls, toys, anything he can get, he's just looting.
I like how you just very gently pillage this place. You're like, I'll need some of these things and some of those things and a fine
Nothing
cup.
from a place that people are sleeping.
Right.
You know.
I think before night falls, Xenon will hike to the summit of this mountain.
So that was what my
Yeah,
Huh?
that would take you more than the time you have left.
Okay.
Because it's quite a distance. It would be something that like in the morning you would be able to get there by like noon,
Oh wow. Okay.
kind
Got
of
it.
deal. So it's like it looks like it'd be a few hours to get to the top of this mountain. It's enormous.
Then maybe maybe I would just stay at the Acropolis. I don't feel like staying in one of the homes would be where Xenon would go or the boat. So
Yeah.
maybe the Acropolis would be fine.
Yeah, and you see that some people have elected like the same, that there are like these pallets of like fine furs and things like that are laid out, and some people are still just kind of like drinking and
Okay.
talking and things like that.
Well, then maybe Xenon would join that. If there was an invite to do so, Xenon would
Yep.
sit and listen to stories and maybe share a story or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they basically their stories, you get the sense are largely fictitious, like they're inventing legends, sort of almost as they speak. And that they don't give many stories of like their day to day.
Sure.
They seem like single-mindedly focused on like the creation of art and the creation of things of that nature.
Got it. Yeah, and so that would be kind of interesting because Xenon would be telling a story of a lived experience, right? And that just has a very different vibe than someone who's inventing tales from whole
and
cloth.
you would hear them a couple times, even like as you're like telling one of those stories, they'd be like, oh, an interesting twist.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
where they're just like, oh, that's an interesting way to take the story. Like, oh, I would have never thought of that. You know, kind of deal.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Good. That gives me something to work with. Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything to do before nightfall?
Well, Phaedras is going to head back to the ship because that's going to be where he's most comfortable staying for the night. Even if there is that thing in the back of his head, like, yeah, what if the ship just falls? No overall on it, because that would be weird and lame. But as he's headed back there, are there like anybody like who works like around the docks or anything like that there?
The word work does not really like.
Or just in the vicinity of the docks?
I mean, yeah, there are people down here who are, you see some people are like carving, like finishing up like the details on like carvings of like canoes and like small boats and things like that they're just enjoying the craftsmanship.
The person who's
of.
painting the like giant mural of the roadway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, something new. All right, we'll paint this today. Because I'm curious to try to ask someone there about, it sounded like you don't get visitors ever, and yet here, right? Like,
yeah, and
so does this get used?
Like, no, I built that this morning. I had caught a wild hare and decided to build the
Single day, the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Just the morning? Like,
yeah.
That's an impressive speed
had
for your
help.
carpentry skills.
I had help.
I mean, still, that's a lot to get accomplished in a single morning. An entire pier. Yeah, what
I hadn't thought
how do the pilings work?
I'm assuming they're hitting some other part of the mountain below, but yeah. But yeah, he'll just give you that. The just like I'm assuming they're hitting some of the pilings. I don't really, or some of the some piece of the mountain below, or what have you. Because they assume that there's stuff below the clouds. They just have no interest in going.
I can't let this go on any further. Hilarion, he just.
You're not there.
Don't
go by
okay,
the docks.
you're
He
right.
was headed back to the docks.
I mean,
Yes.
well, Hilarion's gonna come back from the docks, and then he's gonna put all his ill-gotten gains, and then he's gonna come back out to the docks with rope. He's got to see.
What are you doing with all our rope?
I got to see. Help me tie this to something.
I don't like the way this Makaria's gonna be angry at both of us for this.
He's not here. She's probably already staring blankly off into the other distance. Never seen.
There's so much distance here to stare into. She's psyched.
She's
All right,
Mama
let's-
Bearing on the
let's-
ship. She is watching you idiots do this, really.
Let's get this finished quick then, because if
Yeah.
it's dangerous, then
Hilarion's gonna tie a rope to something,
I'll
and
just
then
give you a hand.
clouds. He's gonna tie the rope around himself and into the things, and he's gonna wade into the clouds.
Yeah. You get like beneath them, and you find that you cannot breathe, but you also find that you don't need to, having drank the water of this island.
Okay. As you do.
And so you get below, and then you see sort of this like stars in the distance, and you look down and you can see that there is like a craggy side of this mountain, and it goes on until you can no longer see it. You're not sure how far that is, but it just kind of continues.
So I'm like floating.
Not really. You're in contact with the side of the mountain, and you can feel like the pull of the rope. You just kind of sank through.
Cool.
And you can see kind of over in the distance, you see where the waterfall of the water from the firmament just kind of continues on into the distance as well.
So Hilarion's gonna walk down a little ways until he's completely under the not water,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna take a rock from the ground that he's standing on and try to throw it up out of the water.
Yeah, you throw it and it kind of like moves, but it moves with a weird trajectory. Like it just kind of moves in a straight line, and then like kind of hits the water and then comes back down and falls.
I don't know what this place is, but I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna try to throw a few more rocks out of the water, but eventually he's gonna climb back up.
Mhm.
Is he wet?
No.
I don't like this place. I want to go home.
Also, every rock you throw follows a different trajectory and like pattern of gravity.
Yes.
I don't.
It doesn't make sense and is not going to.
He's just gonna go up and gather up all the rope and be like, "Let's just go. We don't have a mission here. Let's just go." Oh wait, we should get Xenon.
Yeah, at least he thought about you.
I was gonna laugh my ass off if y'all left this entire island to me.
You could do great things for this place. Have fun.
Yeah. I'll make them build a statue in our honor that would rival the mountain itself.
There's Xenon, and then there's Makaria, Hilarion, Phaedras.
Yeah, so
I
what's
think-
everybody doing?
I'm on the ship, kind of counting crew and making sure that
Mhm.
I at least know where most of our number are. And
You keep realizing you're off by one, and you have to remember that Xenon has like left into the city. Y'all
Mhm.
haven't seen him yet since.
He can handle himself. But other than that, no waiting for nightfall and morning.
Anybody else
I
have
think
anything?
come morning, I think we should try to check out the basin at the
Great.
top, but
Mhm.
certainly not going to try to climb the mountain in the dark.
No.
Yeah.
We're all getting settled down for bed on the boat, and you just hear Phaedras, is there a tide? You're always complaining about the tide. We have to leave with the tide. Is there a tide?
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a tide. Can't you? Does the boat still do swaying and rocking kind of scenario, or
It does, but it does it in like a disconcertingly different way.
yeah,
Like it
no.
does rock back and forth, but not at all with the same like rhythm or motion that you're used to.
Great.
Walk without rhythm trouble. Yeah. Maybe I'll just sleep on the dock. I mean, I'm used to the
Yeah.
rocking and the waves and the.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as everybody gets ready for bed, you all have barely fallen asleep when you are roused by sounds of destruction and baleful howls shattering the night's stillness. All throughout the settlement.
Yeah, this seems appropriate.
All throughout the settlement, savage beast folk covered in bristling fur with slathering jaws and razor claws stalk about, tearing down tapestries, rending engravings asunder, toppling statues, and destroying all evidence of the day's artwork. The people of the island are nowhere to be seen. And when a group of the beasts catches your scent, they spring upon you, jaws snapping at your throats.
Have fun at the Acropolis. It's
I'm gonna have so much fun. You have no idea.
And so that brings us to our arrival contest after, an hour. Can you stand against the bloody fury of these inhuman monsters? Just as a small note, you all are beyond the sight of the gods here, and you may not invoke divine favor until you find some way to get their attention.
Okay. Which I assume also means we can't call up on a bond.
Not with gods, no.
Cool.
They can't hear you.
Glad we collected a whole bunch last time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm just saying that Hilarion did try to make contact with the gods, and we have yet to hear
I did.
exactly
And
how
no one
his brick.
No one appreciated my brilliance then.
Yeah, his brick-a-shoot has yet to deliver the goods.
Lord Almighty.
Yeah, so let's roll up a little blood and valor contest here. Cool. So this, I don't know how this is going to show up. It might show up as divine wrath, but it's just an advantage. Basically, the thing I'm rolling, they have an advantage, and it's a D10. So toss it like that. All right, this is fun. Arrival contest. Boom. Target number 13, and it is perilous.
Awesome.
Which means if we lose, we get a path.
If you suffer, you have to mark a pathos.
Sweet. Love it. Also super glad that I picked when you spend divine favor, roll plus 2d4. Last time around.
Surprise.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah.
Oh, those last three you have to do it in order.
Those what?
Right? In the last three boons, don't you have to pick them in order?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the character sheet. Let me look.
Oh, underneath the line?
Yeah. That's my understanding. If not, then I would pick something else.
I don't think so. Let me check the rules really quick, because I honestly don't. Hero creation.
Okay. I will obviously can we choose not to take up this challenge and just aid someone else and
No.
call it done?
You were the Acropolis.
I'm gonna help the boat by calling all their attention. We just won't worry about how Xenon got out of that
No,
one.
you can select any of them in any order.
Okay. Oh, neat. Okay. Well,
Yeah, it just says in the rules when you've marked all 5 of the initial boons, you may select from these options when you
Oh,
earn a
okay,
boon.
cool. Maybe that was a different game that we played where you started to have to do things in a certain order.
Could
Do we?
Oh, in Brindlewood Base, some of the crowns were like that.
Okay,
Hmm.
fair enough. That's right. That's right. Thank you. My apologies, guys, for taking us down that.
That's fun. Good. Can I call in a bond with Phaedras?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Bonds with each other, nothing with the gods.
Yeah.
Can we participate if we're on the boat?
I'm
Oh,
on
yeah.
the boat.
Oh yeah,
They're coming for the
they,
boat.
they're on
They
the boat
smell
too.
you. They're now on the
Oh.
boat also. Yeah. It is that like, yeah. There are just these beast folk everywhere in the streets, and they're like destroying every piece of art that was created the day before, and are now looking for you because you're not beast folk.
Yeah, Phaedra. It's Phaedros, your name die, I believe.
So I also have when you support or bolster, the die you give counts as one size larger. Does that apply to these bonds when somebody uses it as a bond?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Supporting someone is when you
Give a
don't do the
domain.
contest to give a die.
Right.
Bolstering is
So it's
when they
when
get your
you-
name die. So that's those two things. Yeah, you count as a die larger.
Okay. Okay. Then that's a D12.
Yeah.
I was going to spend a bond to do the same thing with Valerian.
Okay. Sweet.
And this is Blood and Valor, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Larion is a D10.
Okay.
That was close, Makaria.
Yeah.
But you all see now as you're sort of making your way through the streets, probably, or wherever you've decided to take up your defense for this evening, you can see that there is this immense mirror on the side of the mountain, about halfway between the crystal bowl and where the settlement ends, that is reflecting the moonlight onto the town. And you can see as like the strange moonlight kind of shines in the eyes of all of these beast folk.
I think that goes on to tomorrow's agenda for Smash That Thing.
Just add that to the list. Yeah, everyone may test their fate as they see fit. But yeah, I don't see any logical way to sit out of this contest.
Yeah.
Ooh, damn, Phaedros.
Oh.
Of course. Damn it,
That
David.
makes sense.
The first roll of every game, of every time we played Aegon, I think you failed the
Yes.
first
Great
roll.
deeds, sir. How
Hold on a
much?
second. I
D10?
have to see. Did it give me my 2 die for crafting reason?
I see 2d10, yeah.
Oh yeah, it did. All right. Dang. That's rough.
Great deeds are D10, right?
Yeah. Depending, so I technically there are advantages, and it depends on. Or no, I think it is just a d10. I don't know. There was something I was reading about advantages being like different based on how appropriate they are to the situation, but I think great deeds are supposed to be a d10. Okay. Looks good. All right, so it is time for everyone to recite their deeds, starting with Xenon. You're in the Acropolis, and
Yes.
you had just laid down to sleep, and the several people that you were there with, just chatting with as you fell asleep, are nowhere to be found. Only 3 snarling beast folk that are attempting to rip you limb from limb. What do you do?
Yep. Yeah, good. So I want to say that Xenon has spent time as predator and as prey, and there are certain signs that the body just reacts when it is being hunted. So I want to say that Xenon awoke when there was a strange sound, like a claw scratching like the floor or something like that. He moved to the shadows and remained hidden. But their sense of smell was very strong, and they spied where Xenon had hidden himself, and so a chase erupted from the Acropolis.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a period where Xenon had climbed a pillar, leapt from that pillar onto a home, and was running and jumping from home to home with these beasts in pursuit. and Xenon fights many of them off, and makes it close to the boat when this beast just comes up from an alley and just swipes him.
Yeah.
And Xenon folds and crumples and falls on the beautifully hewn path right before the boat with these beasts all around.
Yeah. So make sure you mark your pathos for your damage taken. Next up is Makaria.
Makaria calls out to Phaedras, if you can push them back, I will protect the crew. And she kind of does the thing where she bounces her staff on the boat, and ripple of green comes out, and then like a dome around as much of the crew in the ship as she can get in to protect them in this kind of greeny electric sort of just force field that keeps them out so she can protect the crew.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you see as you do this, like the ship like bursts on the side as one of these beast folk like jumps out from below deck. As one of them was already on the ship. And like bursts out and starts running down the street into this like frenzy of destruction. But the crew seems to be safe. The crew that you had with you is safe.
I forgot that there's a Z-axis in the world, and that this is a boat that goes under. So it would have been a circle, a sphere.
Yeah.
Not a dome.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got all the crew. Basically, you gathered them to you. It's just one
weird that thing. That was weird.
Yeah. So weird. Yeah. Next up is Hilarion. What does Hilarion do?
Well, Hilarion hears Kira say that she's going to protect the ship. And she tells Phaedras to keep him off the ship. And he sees, his buddy Xenon fall. So Hilarion says, I'll get Xenon. And rushes out there, picks him up, throws him over his shoulder, and then runs back onto the boat.
Yes.
He probably, he punches one or two, maybe smacks one with Xenon while he's in the process of, it is basically like, I'm going to get him and I'm going to get back to the boat. And so it's a lot less combat and a lot more kind of Three Stooges running through the bad guys, smacking them here or there, pushing, shoving.
And as you're like smacking them to the side, you see some of them are like impacting hard into the walls of buildings and lay like slain on the ground. Like you were definitely killing some of these.
Okay.
But like others, you're just kind of wading through to get back to the ship and make it without too much injury. Just superficial wounds and things like that.
Yeah, he's charging in there like a bowling ball, just hoping all the pins go flying. Picking up Xenon, throwing him over his shoulder, and then running back. That's the goal there.
Yeah. And last and best, we have Phaedros.
So, Phaedros, as this Makaria asks, as that sphere starts to form around the ship, he heads across onto the pier. He has his shield, he has his spear, he is remembering all of the times of watching Hilarion defend against oncoming hordes. And he is out there doing his best duck and weave and swing with that star metal tipped spear and stuff like that. But I also tapped Resolve Spirit in there, so there is definitely that kind of like watching Nightcrawler bamf around the middle of the fight kind of thing that kind of happens in the process of that. And I would like to spear one of them and toss them into the clouds to the side of the pier.
Yeah, you do. And then you hear like a few impacts and then you don't hear anything else. Of like something like bouncing down the side and then you don't hear anything beyond that. Not sure where they went. No one really knows.
Not on the ship. That's the important part.
Yeah. But this kind of process continues until you all are just too exhausted to fight anymore. And you're not certain how long it is you slept, if you slept at all between pushing down waves of these beast folk, but eventually the sun rises, and you all awake from some form of unconsciousness to see the you see no evidence at all of the destruction of the night before, nor of the works that were created the day before. The island lays almost sort of like it was during the day before when you arrived.
I think Phaedros kind of on his hands and knees and not past the end of the pier on where it's ground, and kind of comes to there in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing the state of everything here, we'll just say I hate this place even more than before.
Yeah. And as you all are kind of waking up, you see as this crowd of primordials is approaching the ship and says, "Welcome, visitors," and kind of is bringing you all to celebrate and feast with them once more.
Makaria looks to the crew and the other heroes. No one eat anything no drinks from here anymore. And she will go one by one and give a pomegranate of Demeter, a pomegranate seed of Demeter to everyone. It should help people sustain themselves and heal wounds from the night before.
Yeah. And you see, as everyone approaches you, they remember you. They called you by name and is like, "Come join us again for feasting." And they're like, "Well," kind of they don't reference anything that happened the day before, but it seems that they remember you and they resume in their creation of artworks. And it's like, "Tell me again, what was that with the serpent? And the strange island with poison? That was a very interesting one. Tell me, I would love to commit it down to writing." Kind of thing.
A very important question.
Yes.
The cool stuff that Hilarion looted, that got broken?
Oh, it's still there.
Okay.
Just any of the artwork, anything that would change on the day-to-day was destroyed.
Got it.
And you all noticed that as you were sort of racing through the city, Xenon, you probably most of all because you saw the most of the city during this, that as the moonlight shone, all of the plants grew, and some of the buildings were even torn down by vines, and the plants and the overgrowth just tried to basically level this town. But now in the daylight, you see that those same buildings are pristine.
Okay. Was there a notable building that I saw in ruin, especially large, or
you knew that some
on
of the
my
pillars
path?
of the Acropolis had been destroyed by vines.
Okay.
But
I think Xenon would say there's something I need to look to. Something I saw on our way back to the boat last night. If you all would like to join me.
I think we should stay together. Just caution the crew, Phaedros.
Yeah, Phaedros will take the carcass and the person who's the head of the clockwork punk folk that we have.
Yeah.
Who I don't remember their name.
I have that. Where's that?
Yeah, that was the previous notebook. But he will tell them nobody leaves the ship. Anybody who is not crew does not come on the ship.
What was his name? Archelaus, I think.
That sounds familiar. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, they'll kind of take up guard. Nakarkis, you see, looks a bit confused and kind of returns to the boat as the sun comes up, as if he didn't spend the whole night on it. But he kind of doesn't.
Maybe have somebody else keep an eye on the ship and
Does
make
all
sure
the
that
crew
Nakarkis
seem
stays
to
on the
play?
ship too.
Nakarkis was the one that jumped off the boat.
Yeah, flexing his eyes. Okay. Maybe Nakarkis should come with us instead and not stay on the boat. And hey
He can
guys,
tell
unless
him
he's
our
accompanied
tale.
by Yeah, unless he's accompanied by one of us, he's not allowed back on the boat.
All right.
But we won't make it sound like such a judgment. We're like, Nakargas, come with us.
Yeah.
You can write of our deeds.
Yeah, and Nakarkis is like totally like nerding out with some of the poets and stuff like that. Like as you guys are like walking through, and they're like happy. Like he seems like he's interacting well with everyone here. That they like see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, and so it's like it's a fun kind of like he's with you guys and he's like hanging out with you all, but he's also very easily able to spend time with like others on the island.
Terrible thoughts crossing my mind here.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we edited the Weave of Fate and then a carcass is now part of this, who else did we edit the Weave of Fate for? Bloodthirsty murderer, dude. Did we make him something magical too?
But we put him back in.
Well, actually, you guys didn't do anything to him. You just stranded him on, and like nothing about his past changed. He's just a shade trapped on an island now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. And if the fates will it that he does something else, well then that's now the fates, and no longer our indiscretion there, or our fault. Okay. So yeah, I want to go back.
I'm not concerned about whose fault it is. I'm concerned about him like slaughtering us.
Yeah. I am also concerned about that. But I guess my point is that if the fate see to it that he gets off that island, then there was nothing we could have done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, I want to take us back to the Acropolis.
Yeah.
And say this is where I awoke, and it looked very different at night. There was a viney infestation, and Xenon's looking around for like vines and plants.
You see no evidence of any of that, but I mean, you see like plants in pots, and you see like gardens, but you don't see any of the like overgrowth and like
the things. Creepy crawly type stuff.
Yep.
Okay. He says, I swear in the moonlight there was this overgrowth that was choking the city, and some of these pillars, and Xenon like goes to one that he saw in disrepair. He's like, they just weren't even there. Like they had been toppled by the plant, and he's like obviously checking to see if it's real.
Oh, sorry, David.
No, that's it.
If you said there's like flower beds, right? Can Makaria would like to like run her hand through the dirt and just get a sense of if it is odd or necrotic, or like if something feels off about it. It's just dirt.
Very healthy, actually, filled with nutrients.
Fertilized, good job. Yeah, worms, great.
Mulched, some mulch in there.
Miracle grow.
It's really good dirt. Mole from Atlantis would be impressed.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Like everything here's fine. I guess we can go now.
We should check out the mirror that we saw.
Yeah, what's up with the mirror and what's up with the basin?
We're in the trials part, right?
Damn.
That was the arrival contest, so we're down in the trials. So there's a few things kind of hanging here. One, if you guys want to use divine favor, you have to find some way to get the attention of the gods. Two, that mirror, you get the idea that it and the light that it casts on the town is responsible for the transformation of the beast folk. That weird moonlight was reflected in all of their eyes, yeah. And so maybe you want to break that. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you want to deal with that, right? Two, none of the primordials seem to know anything about this or remember anything about this. So there is a trial here to attempt to explain that to them and see what they might say and make them realize what's happening. The other thing is just trying to figure out what's going on here, which you can do by like looking around and investigating and stuff like that. So it's kind of those are the few things, like what's going on here, how can we explain to these people, if you even want to, what's happening to them at night, how to deal with the mirror, and then of course if you would like to use divine favor, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, maybe figure out how to get the attention of the gods.
I think that's something that prudent we need to get done.
This river.
It sounds like there's a task for everyone.
Yeah. This river that's flowing down the mountain, I think Xenon would go to that.
Yeah. So at this point, to do a lot of that stuff, like the river and all that kind of is outside of the settlement.
Got it. Okay.
So at this point, to check out the mirror or the river or the basin or anything like that, you'll be leaving town. So if there's anything you'd want to do in town, you would like probably do that first, or wait until tomorrow.
I know how to get the attention of the gods. We just go up to the big mirror and we turn it so that the light shines on Olympus and just kind of wobble it a little bit. Nothing is more annoying than having that light from somebody's mirror. I mean, we'll have their attention in no time.
So we find out it's just a tiny bit convex. It is like focused on Olympus.
Yes.
It's like burns it down.
I mean, to
Put
be
big
honest,
lens
that's
in front of
a
it.
thing. Or alternatively,
I think Xenon would want to talk to the people that were at the Acropolis at the end of the evening.
Mhm.
That they made stories together with, and would try and explain to them.
Okay. Yeah. So this will be. Yeah. So this will be a contest of arts and oration.
Okay.
That I think everybody, like, as you're explaining this to people, I think others gather around to like hear what you're saying, because like there's definitely some sort of spark of like familiarity in what you're describing to them, right? But they don't remember it, and so I think most everyone would have a vested interest in hearing what you're saying. So let me go ahead, and because it's during the day, they're sun blessed. So instead of perilous, this is a sacred contest.
Oh shit.
And they keep the D10 for arts and oration.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so sacred means.
So if you suffer, you have to mark off a divine favor. That's the only thing they're good for here, really.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. So anyone else who would like to participate in that may.
Jesus.
I will aid
Magic.
Xenon in this
Strong magic.
test.
I think our best, I'm gonna aid Hilarion in this contest. Partially because I just want to hear Mike tell a story, and arts and oration are not great for me. So
Yeah, less telling a story, more trying to make all these people understand that they're basically werewolves.
Yeah.
which always goes over so well.
Always goes well.
My name die is a D10. So. Oh, were you going to take up this contest? I guess I should ask that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So we know that
Hilarion.
Xenon.
You start helping Hilarion, and Hilarion's like, "What are you helping me for? I'm not doing this."
Yeah, I think I love how I just got pushed to the front of the boat here. It's like, ooh, that's scary. I don't want to do it. Here, I'll help you.
Talking's hard.
I mean, I guess if somebody's got to do it. I mean, is this one of those things where we're split up and multiple people are doing multiple things?
No, you guys are all together. Xenon's just talking. If you don't wanna get in on this, you don't have to. You can just help Xenon. But Xenon at least wants to speak with them. So
Yeah, all right. Well, Hilarion will go for it because he's used to explaining things to people.
And what am I getting from Phaedras?
So if I do that, it's the D12 for name die, right?
you
Each had
choose
name die switched up a notch, or is it from
It's
domain?
a domain. Yeah, it's a domain.
It's a D10, Resolve in Spirit.
But it's whatever domain you want to get.
Right, whatever domain you want, and then
I'll lend him Resolve in Spirit too.
But it's still a die up.
Yeah.
Because it's when you bolster or support.
Oh, then it's a D12. Cool.
Yep.
I love that.
Love that for us. But it's a D10 from me, Mike. My Mike.
I'm going to call upon my bond with the crew.
Mm.
Because I've held on to that sucker for many islands.
One other thing to note is that though you know for certain that a lot of those beast folk died last night, you see no missing primordials this morning.
Oh, good.
There's the
They
same
return.
number.
They return. Are they even real, or are they just fucking spectrals of light or some
Just
shit?
primordial, man.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna take a D what from the crew as my bond as I
It's a
spend that bond with them.
bond, probably just like a D8.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, they're pretty formidable at this point, but they're not like heroes formidable. Yeah. I don't want to give you a D6 because that's kind of useless.
That would be. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the.
A
the
D8
slight
could at least be
efforts.
useful.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. And no divine favors.
All right. Yeah. Hilarion.
Oh,
no.
No, Mike.
All right. So starting with Hilarion, recite your deeds. How do you try to make these people understand sort of what happens at night, and then how do you suffer as a consequence? Go ahead and mark off a divine favor, because at some point you lose them a bit, and just they're like, disapproval means something, and divinely for some reason.
I think that Hilarion's is going to be like, all right, you guys created stuff yesterday, right? You crafted things, and I think the problem is that Hilarion goes through this whole discussion of trying to tell everybody about how it happens, and that they turned into werewolves or whatever and went and destroyed all of their stuff, and then he got distracted and confused and has to wonder, because he's now wondering, did one of the werewolf things run down the mountainside to get the letter that he wrote to Zeus and threw down? Because that was a work of art. I mean, let's be honest. That was brilliant. And so, like, halfway through the conversation, Valerion is now distracted and is like trying to see, like, did they do it? And also, he's also got this theory of maybe we could save things by having them package their goods and he could throw it off the cliff and then they would be fine tomorrow. And we could pull it up there. So he's got this whole other plan now. And I think that's where he loses them, is he's like, we can run tests. There's things we can do here. We could I've got hypothesis after hypothesis. We're gonna run some theories. We're gonna dangle some things off the side of the boat. We're gonna throw things down the mountainside.
Oh my God.
Did you know that if you tie a rope to yourself, you could go under the cloud and there's just mountain under there? No fish. I saw no fish. You can't breathe, but if you drink the water stuff here, you don't have to breathe. And so it was a long night.
Yeah.
And he's distracted. He's not telling one of his own stories. He's got great focus when he's retelling one of his tales or something that happened. But trying to explain something like this, like he had them solid at the beginning because he was talking about the fight that they went through last night. He had that, the groundwork was there. But now we've moved into a whole different area, and that's not really his thing.
Yeah, I think what it is that, like, a few of them who are listening are like, I mean, he had me at first, but it seems a bit contrived at this point, and I just kind of jumped the shark there towards the end, and now we're throwing things off the mountain. I just don't.
And I don't even know what "jump the shark" means. I know, or where it came from, but I know what it means.
Jumping a shark? That sounds amazing. We should do that.
Valerian's already planning on, like, we can set up like safe caches of goods and arts underneath the water.
It's like a bank, okay? Like you save it.
Everybody, yeah, you just kind of they just kind of lose interest. They look to Xenon and like, Xenon, you had something to tell us.
Yeah, so Xenon's probably in the middle of talking while
Yeah.
Hilarion is doing the thing. Um, Xenon has gathered some people and is, there I was last night here in this very Acropolis, sharing stories, making tales, spinning truths with fiction and creating things, and slumber took me. I awoke with the scratch of a nail. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a wolf, but they have very long nails that click as it strikes stone, and that's what I heard as I woke. I hid to shadow to understand what I had found or what was hunting me. I could smell them breathing, hear their snarl. And before long, there were 3 wolves, big as a man, chasing me through this very Acropolis that we all stand now. And I tore off this direction. I scaled that pillar there, leapt from it with these beasts quickly behind me, climbing my pillar and the pillar next to it. We all leapt to the next roof. There's a shingle missing where we landed. And then we went to the next roof and the next roof. And I ran as fast as I could to my boat to get with my friends again, to escape these foul beasts being influenced in some way by the moonlight that was reflected from this mirror, this great mirror above us. And I saw the strangest thing. I saw one of these beasts leave our ship and join the fray. And in that moment of confusion, I was caught off guard and gashed, and like Xenon pulls his shirt up to show the wound,
Yep.
Was gashed by one of these feral beasts that tried to destroy me. Fortunately, Hilarion, who I think has finished his tale, saved me from the crowd, pulled me out, and I would love to spend a bond with you to make it so you don't have to lose a thing. Is that doable? Can I
think so. Yeah. Hold on, wait.
Okay.
It is an option. Yes.
Yeah, to defend.
I'm going to defend Hilarion here and make it so he doesn't have to spend the divine favor.
Let me find that. Yeah. Bonds. Spinning a bond. Block harm for you. So that's actually a bond that Hilarion spins.
Oh, damn. Fuck. Okay. Shit. I was trying to. Okay. Well.
Yeah. But I mean, but you do describe how.
Yeah,
you help
Hilarion
him
saves
in
me.
that defense. So.
Yeah. Saves me from being surely torn apart to shreds. They say. And
to shreds. They do say that. They do say that.
They do say to shreds. and were it not for the astute observations of my dear friend Phaedras and Makaria, Nakarkas, I believe that it was you who left that boat as a wolf. I believe that it is you who gave me my moment of indecision, as it seemed like all had been lost, because one of these beasts came from the boat itself. Let me ask you, Nakarkas, when you awoke this morning, did you wake on the boat? Or were you somewhere else?
Yeah, I think everybody's like kind of nodding along and they're like listening, and Nakarkas is like, no, I did not. I woke in one of the homes of the town.
Something is afoul. Something is influencing you all. You masters of creation and of beauty. What you create in a day would inspire millions, and yet it gets destroyed every night by these creatures that befall your spirits.
And you see they all kind of like discuss with each other a bit, and they say, "We believe what you say, Z, and would you all be willing to investigate up the mountain, the mirror, the basin, any of it, to try to figure out what does this?
Would um, if my life served any purpose whatsoever, I believe it would be to do this, to understand what is happening to you on this mountain.
Good. Should the sun set on your journey, perhaps do not return to town.
Okay. We will do the necessary precautions to make our crew safe, and uh, by all means, continue to create and make your beauty. If nothing else, if we are successful in our endeavors, the things that you create today may potentially live on, and that would be a wonderful thing.
And that's something that like there's like a sort of an exhilaration that runs through the crowd when they hear that maybe these things will stay, and then you like many of them just immediately leave to begin working on
Sweet
things. They like that is you've spoken their language.
And then he says, wait. Remember that I'm very tall and have a strong jaw. Okay. And then he continues on.
They kind of give you like a there you go. Like just okay, buddy, and like
just like a whole 12-pack.
They kind of give you one of those like it's equal measures, like okay, buddy, and then also we know how this works.
Yeah. Don't tell the sculptor how to sculpt, baby.
Right? Yeah.
You know what happens, don't you, David? That's how it works out. Everybody that said, "Hey, I need you to draw me with like huge pecs and back," they're like, "We will do that."
The people were like, "Can you Photoshop this person out?" And it's like they put a dog in their head or whatever. Yeah.
No, they sculpt you with the 12-pack and the huge pecs and a tiny dingus. That's what they're doing. That's why all the statues have little.
The tiny dingus is to make you seem smarter.
Yeah. This explains so many things. All right. Yeah. So obviously we need to get the crew safe. I think
you're able to do that.
Empty
easily.
The boat and bring them with us.
You could do that, or I think Spirit would say we could sail some distance out and away from shore. We'd be able to see the mountain for some distance. We could sail to safety, if you would rather. Some of them seem a bit like hesitant to go back on the island. Period.
Sure.
So that's kind of the like, he hits you with the like. The crew has spoken, and we feel like one of those kind of deals.
Yeah.
That maybe staying on the ship is the better course of action.
Then, just as like Xenon's own craft and reason, getting in his own way, he says, "Well, amongst the clouds, I don't know what you would moor against. So perhaps a long rope, and we tie it to this dock or this pier."
Yeah, he looks at that could work. There's not really wind or tide, so if we raise the sails, the ship should.
There's still mountain underneath there, so if you throw an anchor down,
yeah, we can drop anchor.
Okay, fair enough.
Anchor, yes.
Right, and you could tie a person to that anchor to make sure that it gets lobbed in, and then they can just climb up the rope.
The one thing I wanted to check on was that you just mentioned Spiridon saying something.
Or not Spiridon. Oh, Archelaus, not Spiridon.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I got the name.
Question answered. I'm like, whoa, we got another one on the ship, photo.
No, not another one.
Not only does a tournament of wolves, it brings them here.
Hilarian's going to check. He hasn't drank any of their magic water. Could he still breathe under the cloud water?
You cannot. You have to breathe. And you're not, when you try to breathe, you're not breathing in any sort of liquid. There's just nothing there to breathe. Once you get under the clouds.
Points
no.
Underneath there?
It is all like crag.
Everybody else is doing important things, and Hilarion is sticking his head into the waves and trying to see if he can breathe.
He's trying to do his science, man. He's getting into
doing a science.
This is what happens when he spends all his time around Phaedras and Xenon and Makaria. Now I'm learning so much. I'm gonna go do experiments, and you guys are all like, "That's great, dear. Go do your experiments, honey." While the big kids.
Experiment.
Oh my god.
So let's go check out a mirror and smash it or something.
Yeah, we'll take
Smash
a break
it.
before then.
Control it.
We'll take a break before then.
David.
Of course. Yes.
Farsighted Shadow-Wise Xenon says, "Smash it."
Smash
You're right.
it.
We turn it onto Olympus and we wait for nightfall and we
Yeah.
see what happens.
Oh no, that could be bad. But yeah, the last thing before you all
Hooker by
leave,
crook, I'm getting rid of the gods.
God damn it, Phaedras.
but before you all, or as you're leaving town, Nakarkis will kind of like walk up to Phaedra and says, "I will be staying in town, I think. Is that all right?"
Yeah, that should be fine.
Or he could stay with us.
Just don't eat anything.
It
Or
seems
anyone.
dangerous, and should your journey take more than a day, I would hate to attack you in the night, if what you say is true.
Good point.
Carcass,
Good point.
I will say that, when you turned, it appears you did not harm anyone on the boat.
Oh, that's
You
good.
left the boat. So it appears that even in this state, you had some restraint. And I hate for you to feel like you were unwelcome.
I don't. I'm feeling a bit pragmatic, I guess.
Okay.
I'd rather not take the chance. I don't know what's up there either. I'm not a warrior.
We are heroes, and we take chances every day. And I would take a chance with you.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Also, like the lead into an ABBA song, I think.
Beatrice says, I'm going to take there are some other artists that I want to speak with. Some of them are strangely familiar to me. And Phaedras, you spy one with this very, very dark skin and like these feathery kind of robes over him, who kind of waves to you all and will beckon Nakarkis over, and he'll say, "Oh, I should go. Demophilus is calling," and we'll go and speak with him.
Yeah, speak. Just
Yeah, go
just
and enjoy
speak.
that.
Speak.
A conversation.
But yeah, and as you all begin your trek up the mountain, we'll take our break.
Awesome.
See what other kind of trouble you guys can get into. We've only just begun.
So
This is
much.
good.
We get into so much trouble.
I like this island so much.
Oh, the two battles for this one are just, oh man.
I like this island.
Well, there's
so
not
much.
two. There's like two options ish.
Right.
One of them is, but I have to edit one because one of them sort of assumes you're doing more islands after this, which is like, how would you do more islands after this? This is why.
How do you follow this one up?
Right? How do you do it? I don't know. There's no signs of the gods here. How do I even give you stars?
Yes.
But yeah, we'll take a short break with like 10 to 15. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll be back at a time.
Sweet.
And we'll
Folks,
see
we'll be
what
right
happens. Bye. So,
do this. I'm excited.
let's do a thing.
Mhm.
So
Go on a hike.
what is the purpose of your journey? Where are you headed?
A mirror.
To the mirror. Okay. Yeah.
Xenon wants to see this river, maybe on the way to the mirror. What I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
just to kind of, I want to understand like when the river flows, is that water with like good soil nearby, or is it strange in some way? Because if it's good soil, I think I have a way of getting the attention of the gods. But if it's like all weird and stuff, then I'd want to understand that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the river flow. You have to cross it a couple times, just on the path, but it flows mostly. It's got like a rocky sort of bed to it, like pebbles and things like that, and it's sort of like a sandy embankment kind of deal. But the water runs clear from where it comes from in the firmament all the way down the mountain. And I don't know if you were keen on drinking it again, but if you were to scoop some up and to taste it, it would taste just as sweet and have the same effects as it had the day before. That it is just this clear water that is in some way sustains you.
Is there an area in this flow where there's like there's probably like the fast lane, but is there a period in this river where it like calms, or where some of the water pools in like a calmer area where it's not, getting swept away a lot? And maybe there's a little bit of churn, but it's not like
Yeah, I mean there would definitely be like some flatter spaces on the side of the mountain. Like it's not necessarily like terraced, but like there's just like outcroppings and things, and then water kind of pools there before it falls off in like a waterfall.
Okay.
To the next little area and then keeps going. But yeah.
Okay. Well, in one of those spots where it's where it pools before going on the next journey, Xenon is going to kneel down and touch the water straight from the stream and dab it to his tongue to make sure it still tastes of water, at least.
Yeah.
And then he'll go into his bag and retrieve Demeter's lotus.
Okay.
And he will find an area where the water meets the ground, where it washes up a little bit. Lotuses are they rest on water, right? They're like lily driven type things, so this should be the right place for it. And he makes sure to unbundle the roots so they can get some nice deep purchase, and he will whisper a prayer to his mom.
Yeah.
And plant Demeter's lotus so that the roots may find her.
Yeah, you can use that as an advantage. This is going to be a contest of resolve and spirit.
Sweet.
Versus the gods. It is not easy to get their attention. In the best of cases.
Is this just for David?
This is for anyone who would like to partake and help out. It is going to be mythic and sacred because it's the gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually do have dice for the gods in this book. So all of the gods as a whole. So there you go.
Awesome.
So I'll roll this up as a resolve and spirit, and you guys can see if you would like to take part in this contest. Target number 17.
God damn.
Holy shit!
That's a 12.
I can't.
Oh my god.
I didn't expect it to actually happen.
Well, it hasn't, so now we gotta roll against it. So I will take up this challenge.
Wait, how did
It's a 12? Oh my god.
Wait, what?
2 11s. Not only that, not just a 12. It's 2 11s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to turn the divine wrath shouldn't have been there, but they didn't keep that, so it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay, you're right.
That was just a D10. That wasn't even on the same par as the rest of the dice.
Oh my god, that is so amazing.
I think that's fitting. It's a difficult task, the one that you were setting out. You do get that lotus to help you, but you cannot use divine favor to help you. But you do have to spend one just to do that. You guys are basically, the way I see it, this is like an effort of burning your divine favor to try to draw attention to this thing you're doing.
Right.
Like you are burning a lot of your godly energy just to get their attention.
Valerian will aid Xenon in this.
Valerian said, "I'm good over here."
If we were playing with the mirror, then Hilarion would go for it. But he's planting a flower. I got no idea. Hilarion's like, I'm not allowed to touch my wife's plants because I break them. I'm not allowed to play with plants. It's a rule. So I'm gonna help from back here. I'll sing to it or something.
17 is the second highest thing that the Strife player can roll in this game.
Great.
The only thing that could be worse is if I up the Strife level to a 6.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man.
Phaedras will take up this challenge.
All right. All right.
Oh, Hilarion, how are you helping me? What's your D? What D?
I got a D10 for my name.
So it has to be a domain.
Yeah.
When you're helping somebody like that.
Lead into the plant.
Lead into the
lead
plant.
into
Yeah,
the
it needs yeah.
Blood and valor.
Yeah.
It says it right there.
It's in the title.
I will.
My blood lotus.
You know what? You're supposed to talk to plants. He's gonna tell it a story or something about and make it feel bad about a very strong plant that grew up out of the. Tells it a valorous story of it fought
So
off.
that's a D8.
And yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so mythic and sacred is like we have to burn one
Burn a
divine
divine favor to
do
take
it.
part. If you suffer, you mark off another.
Okay.
Burn
Are we able to
favor.
use? We're able to use bonds here with
With
gods.
each
Not
other.
with gods.
Not with gods.
You,
Okay.
you were trying to get their
With each other.
attention.
Yeah, I got
They
that.
still don't even.
In
they've
order
lost
to
sight of
unlock that ability. Okay.
you. They have
And
lost
can
sight
we
of you.
use?
They're just like, did you guys? Did you lose?
Can we
Did
use
I feel
great
like we
deeds and
lost some
trophies?
heroes. Great deeds and trophies, yeah.
Yeah. I am doing that now. I'm using one of my great deeds to attempt this.
I was.
Makaria, what is your name die?
It's a D10. I was going to call on a bond with Xenon as well.
You should
I was about to call on a bond with Makaria too, because somebody's
burning all bonds,
based on the braininess of Makaria around how all this stuff works.
Yeah.
Know that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the gods on Olympus, like just doing their thing. They're sitting on their thrones. They're looking very divine and dignified. And they're like, did we lose some heroes?
What happened to those guys we've been playing with for the last couple months?
Yes.
Go over here.
It's like
Get
when
chewed up by the weird mechanical things.
It's like when my kid goes to the box full of Legos and is like, "Where are the little guys that are in with the Legos?" It was like he chucked those things. Like, they're not in the box anymore. Like, where'd they go? Big box.
So I want to call him a bond with Xenon.
Yep.
I'm a D10 name die.
Nice.
Okay, and then I want to use the star metal caps
Okay.
item as well. That's another D10, right?
Yep.
What is the die for using Favored of the Fates?
That would be a D10. I think any of the great deeds and trophies are just D10s.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
We got one.
We got
two. Oh.
It's gonna happen. Oh no.
Oh.
Of course, the mortal.
Oh,
You
run.
call on a bond though to get somebody to block whatever the bad stuff is going on.
Yes.
That's
Yeah. Call in a bond so we can block it.
true. Or take it. Just take it.
I got divine favor I can drop. That's
If you
fine.
have to mark divine favor and you can, it's just a fate box. It's just,
I've got divine favor for a change. It's
you got one back. You did the impossible. You got a fate box back. You should be riding high on that.
I'm good. I'm fine here.
This is like the first time the strike player is really like tried to be like the devil on your shoulder.
It's the
like,
last island, you know. If I don't, you know, if one of you guys doesn't kick the bucket, what am I even doing here? What am I even doing? No.
Yeah.
But no. So first up is Phaedras. Recite your deeds. How are you aiding in this, and how does it not go so?
So Phaedros, resolving spirit is his thing, right? Like that's the whole like he is now shade touched as well as many wade Phaedros. He's used to, not necessarily the gods, but like weird supernatural things happening and like but he will call on his bond with Makaria around who's been very good about like getting the attention of the gods and staying on their good side, like that sort of thing. And Phaedros is the favored of the fates. Is did good things, the fates that should be cascading out into like the gods paying attention. But yeah, at its heart, Phaedros is the mortal here.
No.
And the mortal was never the one who was going to get the attention of the gods to begin with.
Yeah, I think maybe it's that you get a little too close to that like divine essence that's being channeled, and it almost like burns you.
Oh yeah,
Because you're just not made of the conductive material, right? Like you can't conduct it the same way others can. And I think it's like the shades kind of like grip you to pull you back and even like dig into your flesh a bit.
Yeah, and I feel like there should be some sort of like scarring or something like that. That like it looks like the roots from the lotus that were spreading out. Like,
Yeah.
Or like
Process
lightning.
scan.
The like lightning scarification is kind of root like, you know, how it branches and
Yeah.
shit.
The Lichtenberg figure or something like that. It's
Yeah.
lightning does the thing. Yeah, I think I think you are like significantly altered by this in some way. But that you seem to take the full brunt of the negatives of this. Makaria, you prevail. How do you do so?
Makaria, seeing the lotus being placed already in this water, goes to it and puts her staff out, balancing it upon the lotus, so that it stands by itself upon this flower. The star metal staffs touching the bud, and she swirls her hands around, calling upon just the nature, the root, to have the lotus pull root down throughout the water. And then from her staff, this just light just shines of white and green back and forth, a healthy green, not like a gross green, but a healthy, happy green. Yeah. And it just pushes the light into the sky over this island. No. She steps back and her staff is balanced there as part of this light and of the lotus.
Excellent. And Xena?
Yeah. So I think that, you know, with the assistance of Hilarion providing I forget how Hilarion how you wanted to help. I think you were like doing a song or something to like help.
Telling it a story of its ancestors. And
there it is. So with that,
you could do it, little buddy.
Yeah, kind of in the background, encouraging Xenon's efforts, and with Phaedros interfacing with the shades, and calling upon help with Makaria, because I hit bonds with everybody here to try and get this done. Xenon places the lotus, unfurling its roots and aiding them in getting purchase past the rocks and into the actual soil underneath. And in this kind of moment of almost like meditative repose, watching the staff balance upon the lotus, and the lotus heft the weight of the staff, despite it being a new bud. and just the strength of that, um, reaches out to Demeter through their collective will and endeavor, and say, um, Mother, I've tasted of this water, and I know that it has uh, the power to sustain and even restore. I hope that it 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 furnishes you with that restorating power, and that you find that this new land that we have discovered is good and worthy of your presence and awareness.
Mm.
Because I think that Xenon has kind of been working towards this idea that he wants to bring Demeter and effectively the gods to new lands. And
Gotcha.
so, and this is like, he gets to do it because this is land that is not known to them. So he gets to bring the gods here.
Yeah.
And that is through Demeter and her long roots of life,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
fertility.
Yeah, and you find that the roots spread out on this pool, but they do not touch the ground around it.
Okay.
But as this finishes, you see as like the lotus kind of closes up, but then as it opens again, you see a form rise from it. A cloak of leaves that covers all, and the leaves are varying colors. There are spring blooms, and towards the bottom, like autumnal colors that go into the like browns of winter. And you see this sort of like feminine form in front of you that is matronly, and sort of embodies the four seasons. And she says, "My child, where have you found yourself today?"
I'm in a strange land with what are they calling themselves again? I'm sorry, I wrote it down.
The primordials.
I'm in a strange land with people calling themselves the primordials. They exist above Olympus itself and above the heavens.
And she kind of looks like back and forth, and she says, "Yes, I see it now. Olympus sits far below you." She says, "You walk a place older than even our ancestors. Tread carefully, for the progenitor of all things is here. You were meant to be home. We can do little, but we will lend what aid we can."
I'm glad that you have found us.
And you don't see a face beneath this cloak, but you see sort of these bright, verdant green eyes that kind of shift from like a pink to like a green to a gold to like a brown, and then they just continually shift in this cycle of seasons. And they kind of look at you, and you see a gentle nod, and then as a gust of wind comes, the leaves kind of scatter on the wind, leaving nothing but the lotus. And you see the roots of the lotus kind of draw back into it, and it closes up again.
Okay. I'll pick it up. This doesn't seem like it wants to find purchase here, which is fine.
Yeah.
As she disappeared, Makaria touched her robe, or as much as she could, and then as like her visage disappears, like Makaria's staff falls into her hand. And she sets it on solid ground.
Yeah.
Very well done, Xenon.
It's interesting that that Did you get the sense that she dare not tread here?
Yes. It would make sense.
What is the progenitor of all things?
Well, it would be the father and mother of all. The father of Kronos, who is the father of Zeus.
The father of Kronos is here.
If that is the father of all. So, and as Zeus defeated Kronos, Kronos defeated his father. So to mess with those tides, it could be very dangerous.
Okay.
Well, it is already very dangerous. It could be very dangerous for the gods of Olympus if they were to be noticed by what is here, potentially.
Oh. Okay. Well then, we will take care when calling on their aid.
Yes.
Okay.
Phaedras, are you all right?
Laying on the ground, smoke coming out from his armor. He's got that like Greek hoplite armor where it's like there's a chest plate and there's like the sort of like the skirt of little leather strips. So like you can see like arms and legs have this scarred pattern across all of them here. Probably up a fair amount to like ringing his face as well. And his eyes are probably stuck in that. Like when I start doing weird shade stuff, like the eyes go black and like they're probably stuck that way. I'm in one piece. I can walk. You know, can stand on my own 2 feet.
Pomegranate seed for you. Go, just a little snack to get the edge off.
Just pop one of these. Yeah. Okay.
Pop them like Advil, buddy. It's what we do around here.
Morning, they were great.
Yeah, also if they really were just Advil just painted red. The peculiar crunch to them. It's the
ibuprofen.
Nom, nom, nom.
But yeah, you all have gained the attention of the gods. You could feel sort of their, not their presence per se, but you could feel their gaze as they now are watching you all. But it feels different because at this point it is coming from below you, and you can see its origin.
We are better than the gods now. Wait.
You hear distant thunder below you as you say that.
Calm down, lightning boy. Calm down.
Hilarion will throw another rock. And this one will hit.
But yeah, you are almost to the mirror at this point. If you would like to continue to investigate it. After not too long, you arrive at this enormous mirror. And you see that in the light of the sun, not much happens. But as the sun, this has taken much of the day, but as the sun sets and the moon rises, just because I need it to be nighttime now, I'm just going to say it took you a while. The descriptors I have are for nighttime, okay? But yeah, as you see sort of the moonlight reflect off this mirror, you see that everywhere the light touches, the plants grow wildly and out of control, as if defying the very act of creation itself of man-made works. And you can hear in the distance the sounds again of howls and the destruction of works of art and buildings and all things below in the settlement. As you all approach it, what are you doing with it? Like,
I'm
what does it do?
curious what it's reflecting.
It's reflecting the light of the moon.
Okay.
And the sun has moved so that it's no longer
Mhm.
visible to the mirror, kind of thing.
Right,
So the
yeah.
moon has shifted around.
Yeah, it kind
Because
of.
we're on a flat Earth, and the thing just rotates around this
Mhm.
mountain.
I don't want to go that. You guys aren't on Earth. How about that?
There it is.
You
We're on a
guys are
flat disc.
You're on a something,
Okay,
and the celestial bodies just move as they see fit.
sure.
Yeah. We're not gonna. I don't even want to. That's dumb.
I'm fucking with you. I'm sorry. I'll
dumb.
stop. I'll stop.
No, I just want everybody watching to know that the Earth is not flat.
Yeah.
I need everyone
Wait.
to know this.
Wait, what? There's a hole in the middle too, right?
No, it's not a donut either.
Well, it's not flat, but in Antarctica there's a hole because there's a whole section inside.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
That's the one.
You
That's
saw
the
Godzilla
one.
versus Kong too.
No, I
Those are
bought
good.
those like Hollow Earth books for D&D way back in the 80s. That was
Fun Hollow Earth.
Remind me after this. I need to talk to you guys that are more up on monster movies about that because I watched it and I'm really confused.
I mean, the movie did what it was supposed to do. The big monsters fought each other. It was dope. I don't question it beyond that. It did have a weird moral that the QAnon dude was like right, which is a strange moral to put in a monster movie because the weird conspiracy theorist was like correct about things. It's like, okay, whatever. It's a monster movie. Don't pay attention to the little people.
That's right.
Just
all
the
about
big
the monsters.
monsters. But yeah.
So this mirror,
Here's what
does it shift at all, or is it like firmly set in the mountain?
Yeah, it seems to be set to where it is, and it reflects down on the settlement below, and kind of on, like, and anywhere that moonlight touches, you see is the vegetation and like the plants grow, and they move to destroy anything man-made.
When I was running from the beasts, I was also caught in this mirror's beam.
Yep.
Did anything happen to me?
And even now, as you stand and it's light, nothing happens.
Okay.
Then you remember.
Right. Okay.
No, you're well aware of what happened the night before, and you're fine. So.
Yeah, Hilarian's gonna do that thing where he like holds his hand in front of it, like whoo, and see that nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And put his whole arm out. He jumps in and jumps out.
And is it like a perfect mirror, like we can see ourselves in it, or see the reflection of objects in it, or is it like a murky mirror, so you're just seeing like the cast off of reflected light?
From like where you all are standing, you just see where the moon reflects off of it. Like it's sort of angled. In order to see your own reflection, you would have to like walk right up on it because it's kind of pointed up.
Got it.
Or it's pointed in such a way that it reflects sort of towards the town.
Yeah. Okay.
Hilarian's gonna take all of this in. He's gonna judge the angle, put himself in the correct position, and moon the moon.
As you do this, you hear shards. You hear glass breaking.
Yes.
As shards from the edge of the mirror begin to detach and form into this kind of large creature made of glass that sort of shifts its shape, but at this moment it looks like an immense knight wearing armor with a large blade made of jagged glass.
Well, I was going to ask what kind of a being would establish and install such a thing, but
yeah, you see this mirror guardian that sort of stands in front of it and kind of takes its glass blade and embeds it in the ground and just sort of looks at you all as if challenging you to approach the mirror any closer.
Yeah, Xenon's gonna say, "Pull up your pants. Why'd you do that? It's all mad now."
He pulls up his pants. It worked, didn't it?
You couldn't have just settled for like, I'm gonna reach in front and like, oh, there's a bird flying over the side. Like,
I wanted to see what would happen. And this is what happens.
And you've made it mad, so go deal with that.
Okay.
Go talk with it. We shall talk with it.
Valerian goes up to it.
It has no mouth or
Sweet.
face. It has a big pane of glass, like a big circular shape of glass that serves as like its head. But as you get closer, it pulls the sword up out of the ground and kind of levels it towards you all. As like, oh, you're getting closer. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Valerian looks at it and says, "My, you're a handsome-looking bastard. What are you doing here?"
It says nothing. You get the idea this thing does not speak or reason, that it has one purpose, and that is to guard this mirror from any who would seek to destroy it.
I don't necessarily want to destroy it. I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah, we do. We want to stray.
Let's but before we go any further, should we give this guardian some space and go and look further up the mountain?
What's up the mountain?
The where the water is coming
Basin.
from.
The water.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can always come back. Shiny's going to be here, right?
Maybe.
Probably. Maybe.
If not, I can just boot him again.
I'm asking because there are things that we don't yet understand, and I'd like all of us to have our heads when we seek that knowledge.
Okay. Goodbye, big shiny guy. We will see you later.
As you move further, it kind of removes itself from that ready stance and kind of puts the blade back. And then as you move further, and move far enough away that it doesn't think that you intend to approach the mirror, you see the shards of glass just kind of fly back into the mirror, and it reforms into just one piece of glass.
He was pieces that like chipped off the edges or something like that.
Mhm.
So like it was still shining down on the town the whole time.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay. Is this something that like Xenon thinks he could maybe hit that mirror from here with a good bow shot?
That's what I'm saying.
Try.
We put a rock in a tablecloth. I can hit it. I've already had a practice shot. I know how far it'll go.
I will say, if you're gonna try to do anything to like break the mirror, we're gonna launch it to a contest. And
Right.
things are
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
happen.
No, I get that. I get that. I'm not trying to get a free breakage here. I was just curious.
It's gonna get interesting if you do that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah.
Are you so yeah? Now that it has returned to its place of waiting, are we agreed to go up to the basin? I wasn't especially looking to fight the thing, just to learn knowledge.
Yeah. Let's see
Yeah,
if
to
we
the
can find out
basin.
about the basin without
Okay.
shitting more glass blood along the way.
Blast blood. Yeah, blood. Glass blood. Yes.
Glass blood. I like it. It's a good name. Gonna start a death metal band, and that's gonna be the
I was
name.
about to say that sounds like a good Swedish band.
That's coming up in Red Market sometime.
Oh,
Somebody listen to
shit.
Blast Blood.
Scandinavian doom metal.
Yes.
Glass blood. But yeah, you all continue your ascent. And the higher you go, the faster the moon and sun seem to move. And you can hear, almost like sped up, the sounds of creation during the day and the sounds of destruction at night. To where by the time you reach the summit of this peak, you can see the sun and the moon just kind of orbiting the peak of this mountain. And you can see that there's just this immense crystal basin that is catching waters from the firmament and that are falling down into the waterfall. There's like a small, like kind of divot in one side, and the waters are flowing down. And around
With
it
the
is like
waters,
this
like-
reflecting pool.
Did the waters like contact where the mirror was anything, or like just like the river
It
flowed
seems
near
like
that area, but it
to-
was like a separate thing.
Yeah, it's a separate thing. They're
Okay.
not connected. But yeah, you were up here.
So, is there anything else up here? Now that we're
You just see this kind of like large reflecting pool sort of around the basin. Where like the waters from the firmament kind of they drain from the basin into this big reflecting pool, and then they flow down on from one side of the mountain.
Can we like reach where the water flows from the basin into that pool?
Yeah.
Does it still taste like the same?
Yeah,
stuff
and you can
from
see
down below?
now that you can kind of like really see it without like influence from either the sun or the moon in such a way, it does glow faintly. This water.
Okay, cool. So I'm glad I put that in my mouth.
and it is coming from above in some unknown source is just streaming down into this basin. Fucking wild.
But yeah, you can see now it's taking maybe 10 minutes for the sun and the moon to kind of like swap positions in the sky. That like you can see them moving like around you with great speed.
Wow.
And like as you're standing here, days are passing. Like not for you, but like below, you can hear the sounds.
Valerion is definitely gonna let the 3 smarter people figure this out. He's gonna look for a boulder he can roll down the hill into the mirror. You're muted.
Sounds smart.
That's what he's. You know what? You go to your strengths, right?
This is the construction of this basin natural or forged in some way?
It looks to be made of like cut crystal.
Okay.
And you can see that in the crystal there are like stars kind of reflected in it.
But it's like patterned. It's not like just jagged, chopped off, and kind of.
It's like patterned. Yeah, it looks like something carved this.
And the star patternation, is that like the same as the Vault of Heaven?
Sort of. It looks a little different, but it is definitely like similar in nature. But after some time of sort of looking at this, you see that there is almost like a small gap kind of at the base of this, and you look and you see just nothing but like swirling colors and stars within it. And as you're looking, you see as a being steps out, sort of made of this material, these swirling colors and these stars, and you see is like at first it has like 4 arms and then like 6, and then it goes down to 2, and kind of like the hands kind of turning, and then like the legs kind of do a similar thing of like trying to find a form that makes sense. And you see like faces rising from like different spots until eventually like a head forms and a face forms, until eventually you were looking at something that looks like a man. Or a person. You're not really sure. And they're wearing these robes.
Humanoid.
It's humanoid, yeah. And they're wearing these like robes of shifting colors, and their hair also kind of has this like galaxy pattern and like kind of hangs long on them. And you see a face, and it says, "Heroes, you've arrived."
I'll kind of like just do something to catch Hilarion's attention so that his hunt for the boulder stops.
He stops. He turns around. He's got like a smaller boulder in his hand. Oh, we have a friend. Waves the boulder at them.
Thank you for answering my summon.
you brought us here.
I did.
We've survived some trials to make it this far. This is a remarkable place.
It is. But very, very precarious.
Noticed.
Hmm?
We've noticed.
Are you chaos?
You know much, Makaria. I am chaos, the origin of all things. I heard you below on the mountain. I think your original hypothesis was what, that I may be Uranus or Gaia, or some combination of the two.
I was so a being of your kind is above the realm of possibility of my mind at that point.
Flattery is not necessary, but my petulant children do as they will. And the wars of fathers and sons do grow old.
Indeed.
I'm sure you have questions.
Yes.
Me.
Many questions. I think there are some details about this place that provide some wonderment, but perhaps more pressing would be, why have you brought us here?
A good one. This island holds the balance of all things, creation and destruction. And I'm sure you've been tempted to change things, and I'm sure the people down below now have opinions on that as well. But know that anything that happens here, any disturbance to the cycle, will have far-reaching effects beyond. And with each small change, he kind of points to the rift behind him. He says, I grow. And that's why I've brought you here. Does that make sense?
You brought us here so that our mere presence would create change that would imbalance things and give you form.
Not exactly. You all have been making change at the will of the gods or what have you. And I have been growing for some time. The balance is delicate. I simply thought that you all should know, or take a peek behind the curtain, I guess. So few get to do this.
What do you mean? What is behind this curtain?
Well, me. I am. As the balance tips, I can grow and create anew. New lands, new worlds, new realms, new gods, even. Many things spring forth from me. All things. And your righting of wrongs, the sort of balancing of strife, it does that already, as all heroes do. These things are inevitable. But you're here now, and you could help. Or you could leave. Either way.
Help bring balance to more things, or you to more things? Chaos to more.
I would like to create more and to go beyond. I think this is all well and good, but it's gotten a bit old. Patterns repeat, and I think it's time for a new pattern. I just need a little help to get free. And I'll go elsewhere. Nothing will happen to this world. It'll remain as it is. But places to do, well, places to visit, things to do, people to see, things to create. Xenon, you seek to travel to new lands. I don't think you know what you mean when you say new land.
Would have to agree. I don't fully appreciate the scope of that desire.
There are continents yet unknown to your people on this world. There are many places that they have their own gods, their own ways.
There are other gods.
Certainly. But there are places not yet created.
And you made all the gods.
Make doesn't seem the right word. Your language is limited.
But your actions...
They sprung from me, as all
Okay.
things.
All the gods, ours and these others on other lands.
Yes.
And you can do more of that? You can just continue to create?
I can. But this balance I now sit in the middle of holds me.
What would need to be in its place? There's nothing that rivals you.
Nothing. Nothing. I just need this place to be gone, and I can. This holds me here, my eye. And if you were to tip the balance, I could be free and go elsewhere. Turn my attention beyond this lovely little mountain. Nothing would really change. Perhaps the pride of the gods would be wounded to not be my favorite children anymore.
But what of the mortals upon the earth?
What of them? Nothing will change. I've done nothing since the world sprang forth from me. But sit
But
here and watch.
You said that this island controls
It does.
the earth below, so if things here were to change...
Perhaps the gods would lose some of their influence. Mortals would be free to determine themselves. No more would heroes be cast through the mists to do the errands of idle fools. Pardon my language.
See, I like this guy.
So your proposition is that we find a way to free you so you can go create...
New land.
Are you imprisoned here? Are you not able to leave of your own will?
The balance is too... Well, things are too balanced. Right? Creation, destruction happens. It happens in an order. But if you get rid of that, I can slip free. Let mankind determine itself. The gods will listen. They'll hear the prayers as they always have, but will they send lightning to destroy those that displease them? No. Will they bring poor crops if the sacrifices were lackluster? No. Will they wreck ships for not paying homage to their domain? No. They'll still be there. Mortals will simply not be at their whims. It is a simple choice.
What would happen with the gods, free from their connection to the mortals?
Nothing. They'll continue to exist as long as there are those who believe in them. And mortals are tenacious with their beliefs. So I see no... I mean, eventually all things come to an end. Regardless of what happens here today, but... they'll just yell impotently from Olympus instead of ending many lives. As they would now. You've felt their wrath before. You know how fickle they can be.
They also do good things for the people.
They do. Sure.
The days and nights pass quickly here. How much time have we lost?
Oh, on the mist-covered sea of your journey, but moments. Here, months. Your crew will not age. Don't worry for them.
Okay.
They sit safely in the cloud sea, awaiting your return. They could not leave if they wanted to. But they do not.
If freed, where would you go?
A difficult question. Where I would go does not yet exist.
So you would go into a void of some sort.
Sure.
I feel like is there more that you can share with us? I almost feel like we need to discuss.
What
But-
more would you want to know? What more is there to know? If you have
there's-
questions, I'll answer them.
Okay. I appreciate you giving us this time. I'm sure that that comes with some discomfort, given the differences between us.
If we were to decide against doing what you want, what would the repercussions be?
I do not know. I'm assuming it would be quite difficult for you to reach your home. I could help with that, but if I'm trapped here, not so much. It took a lot of effort to bring you here in the first place.
How did you bring us here?
No, I just called, but that type of effort was significant given how small I've become.
Okay.
Yeah, they smile, but and just kind of stand, arms crossed. Discuss. I care not for what you just. I care not for your discussion, so do not feel the need to leave my earshot. I can hear all on this island anyway.
That's disconcerting. Good to know.
Well, we're just gonna huddle over here for a second.
we're just gonna hang out. Fucking Alexa here is listening to everything we say. And we
Yeah.
talk about. what we're
Yeah,
gonna do.
and you see them kind of say, if it would make you feel better, and they kind of look, and the ears on the side of their head just kind of like sink in.
That did not make us feel better, but I appreciate the effort.
Do the
It's
whole like
worst.
Dr. Manhattan. I disappear and he's sitting on Mars somewhere.
Yeah, it's like that was worse. Very unsettling. Okay. I don't know what to make of this. This is a level of influence that is far beyond any of our recollection or understanding. It sounds like if we don't do this, we get to toil at great cost at trying to return home. And if we do this, the future is uncertain for all of us.
Well,
I think he's got a strong position. I think it's a good plan.
And ever the negotiator, Phaedras, yes, he is.
I believe we should sign on this deal.
I think that given my choice in the matter, we have this thing that says it's chaos, and could be, I don't know. But if it is so powerful, how is it trapped? By itself? I don't know.
That one's gonna hurt your brain. Just think about that for too long.
Yeah.
It's
So
maintaining balance, and it can't stop maintaining balance. But if we disrupt the balance, then there's no more balance for it to maintain, and it's free to do whatever it wants.
I mean, I guess it comes down to, if we do what it says, then we will be diminishing the gods, and I can't see them taking that kindly. And while it may say that they will diminish, I do not believe for a moment that it will be an instant thing and that they won't have time to play their wrath upon us. Whereas
That's
if
the threat phase. That's the threat phase.
yeah, whereas if we just leave,
Then we have its wrath, where
we have its wrath, and it
Let's
says,
go
"Oh
home."
well," but it's also like,
And
we were
oops,
able
no
to-
home for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but maybe not, because we were able to reach out and communicate with the gods. Maybe if we sail from this island, they can help guide us home. If I have to put faith in the gods or in the big ugly star thingy, then I'm going to put it faith in the gods.
They've taken at face value that this is being truthful with us, and I have no reason to doubt it. There are more.
You have
gods.
every reason to doubt it. What giant, all-powerful thing has ever told you anything straight?
Okay, Hilarion, you can't have it both ways.
Why not?
You can't have it so that you put all your faith in these incredibly powerful gods and trust them, and then at the same breath say, well, you can't trust them because they all lie to you.
They're just.
They are either going to be worthy of your devotion, or they are not.
I can trust them, but also know that they. I mean, it's not blind faith. As long as if I trust them to do as long as it's not, against their nature or within. And we are going to be useful for them. If we leave, then we are not acting against them, and perhaps they'll choose to reward us. Whereas we don't know this thing from any other crazy monster that's popped up.
Do the two of you know this entity chaos? I'm not well learned. Know of it? Are there stories of its existence?
Tales that were told by Wikipedia on the ship. Where
Wikipedia. Fuck me.
it was in the notes. He is on the ship.
I do believe we put him on the ship. We did do that.
I swear he is written down in my notes.
Yes, we did that. That was a thing.
That's right. We did.
We
do
did.
that.
Did mention that the Radius and Gaia came from chaos and blah blah blah. But
He did say that he has created other gods. There are other gods that we don't even know. I was under the impression that our pantheon of gods was it. And there are more, and it can
Spoken
make
like
more?
someone who's never gone to war with the Persians. You think they follow our gods? No, everyone has their own.
I have not gone to war with the Persians. I don't believe, unless that was our war that
everybody's
we just
got
did.
their own god.
Those were the barbarians that we were just fighting
It's-
against. Just
Yikes!
heads up.
Yikes! Very problematic last episode. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think Xenon is just like, I mean, he's just gobsmacked by this whole notion of.
So this is a crack question to Ethan. I may have missed. Did Chaos say that they would not let us leave, or that we would be lost if we were to leave?
They said that it would be difficult for you to get home unaided. Not that it was impossible, but that it would be difficult.
Right.
Okay.
And in game terms, you're looking at two different battles here. Looking at one to break the cycle and free chaos. And you're looking at two to navigate back to the sea. With its own special things. And there's in the rules, like in the module, chaos would follow you, and
So we would do this.
I'd have to add chaos to the Vault of Heaven, and it'd be this whole thing. But there's no more islands after this, so I'm changing that a little bit. It's just going to be a very difficult battle for you to get home, but either way, it's going to be pretty much equivalently difficult. It's just a question of which you want to do.
Cool. I'd like to see the Vault of Heaven with chaos in it, just to see what that image looks like.
I don't even know.
Why would you create work for me? Just why?
Oh, I didn't know that was made by you. My apologies. I thought that was one of the.
No, that one is
overlay.
The overlays are
The
mine.
overlays.
Yeah.
Nice.
Makaria says, chaos is the creator of all. I cannot turn my back on the worship of my goddess Demeter and the mortals below, who are still tied to the tides of life and death that go through my mother's domain. There is still a cycle there. I cannot turn my back on it and all of that. I feel that I cannot help free chaos.
I vote we don't help chaos. I see that as it's a bad thing. Also, like, I mean, I don't know him well enough to trust him, I know where I stand with the gods, and I know what to expect from them. This is admittedly chaos. We could help them, and then they could turn around and destroy us because of whim.
I thought that was whim was an aspect of the gods.
It is to a degree, but they still operate within their own, you know.
I'm not convinced that one is better or worse than the other.
I'm not either, but my point of view is that we just met Big Sparkly up here, and I don't trust him. I don't necessarily. I just think that if I had to put my faith into one of them, I already know where I stand with the gods. Also, you know, I just don't. I don't see this. I don't know that I trust his word. What if it is not chaos? What if it's a demon or her? I mean, because if it's really chaos and it's all that powerful, why is he trapped? Like, if he's all that powerful, why is he trapped? So,
We should ask him. So,
Sir, question.
why are you trapped? If you're all this powerful, why are you up here trapped?
Are you... Okay, let me put this in a way that maybe makes sense. I am chaos. Yes, you know what this word means in your language.
Yes.
And do you know what the word order means in your language?
Yes.
Then you know these things are diametrically opposed.
Sure.
They are opposite. As
Right.
long as there is an order that is divine, which I created myself, the irony of it, I cannot leave. I've created my own prison. The order of this land. This has happened many times. And it will happen many more. But
thank you. And then
may I
Larry will
offer
look back.
one other thing?
Yeah.
Would you like to see how the gods would react if you
Yes.
chose to help me?
Yes.
I know, Hilarion, you do not trust me. Perhaps some of your friends do.
I would like to understand more. Yes.
Yeah.
I would also like to see. I would like to know how the mortals would react, especially ones that have close bonds with people among us, the heroes among us.
Okay, I can show you these things. These things are not set in stone. That is not how this works. But based on where we are now, this is what may happen. And you see as they gesture towards like this reflecting pool, and it kind of shimmers to show different visions. And it shows you all fighting to destroy the mirror and to upset the balance here and release it. And it shows the gods and their fury as they fight against the loss of their power. And it shows Zeus casting down lightning upon Nauplia and upon the home of Hilarion and the Temple of Demeter and the places that Makaria holds dear, destroying them. It shows as Demeter sends a bitter winter for years that completely ravages all of the lands of crops. as Poseidon floods and brings earthquakes that shatter islands and send them tumbling into the sea. It shows the wrath of the gods. He says, this is how they repay the work you've done for them so far. And they would treat any mortal the same. Or demigod. It's their way. They respond to individual actions and they don't care about anything you've done before or anything you will do after. It's the truth of things. If you are pious, they reward you. If you are not, they punish you. And there is no balancing game there. It is a case-by-case basis.
That is perhaps true, but if what you're saying is that we're going to diminish the gods, if Xenon and I have been friends for a long time and are dear friends, and if he burned down my house, I would react violently to that.
Oh, you mistake me. Olympus will be fine. It will remain exactly where it is. The gods will simply not be able to meddle in the affair of mortals. The connection will be severed. And Makaria, you ask of what will happen to the mortals. And you see the pool kind of shimmer once again. And you see what we would know is just history. You see mortals, they continue to worship the gods. They continue to offer up their sacrifices. They continue to fight wars for the gods. But it is all at the determination of mortals. There is no more. You see many things attributed to the gods. Many mortals would not notice the difference, frankly. And life continues on. And that is the future you see if the connection between gods and men is severed. Very little change at all.
I do not feel as it is up. I do not feel like I want to be the one that makes this change, is what Makaria says to her cohorts.
Yeah. I'm struck by something. You know what's funny is that if chaos didn't show themselves to us, we would have freed chaos. Hilarion, by your hand, you would have just done it. And chaos chose to give us this knowledge so that we can make an informed decision instead of acting as agents of change without understanding the implications. This is a tricky thing to put this on our shoulders, for us to be the ones to make this decision that has such broad and powerful implications.
Great heroes. You
The
couldn't
gods
ask
would-
that question to the gods. They would have their own opinion on the matter.
The gods would have you journey in ignorance as they have so far. And some things you've done have worked towards freeing me, other things you've done have not. I would rather you know.
You said these are things not writ in stone. These are things that could be.
These are things that are likely to happen.
Okay.
I do not know which of the gods will be feeling particularly vengeful at the time if you decide to help me. I do not know what decisions man will make without their influence. But I know that for many, they won't notice. That I can say is certain. Any mortals do not notice the gods now, for better or worse.
I think I want to free this being.
Great.
Great. Is that what you said?
I agree.
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think it's great. That's
Fair enough. I don't look, I love the gods. I love Demeter. And I'm glad to know that she would continue on. The gods have not been kind to my mother or her child. Maybe them having less power is a good thing.
To that, neither were your mortal parents, your mortal parent, or the other mortals around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not good. But, you know, with mortals, the scope of what they can do, the pain they can toll on others is limited. More so. I don't want it either. But I think that if what Wikipedia tells me is true, there are some gods that rightly, or not rightly, but there are gods that frequently abuse the authority they have over us and each other.
As do mortals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Clarifying question, if I may. In the vision that it showed of what the gods would do if we helped free chaos, you said it showed Zeus throwing lightning bolts at Hilarion's house.
Not his house, but the entire island.
God.
Right.
God.
So, which is why Hilarion just, it's like, I cannot express to you that while how close we have grown, you are dear friends to me. I will not let this happen while I live.
Because if you do, a man who is not presently here will harm your family.
Yes.
These things can be prevented. Just as many other hardships have been prevented.
You just said that this is what would happen. So what you're saying is then you showed a lie.
It is like the
Did you not-
challenges in the past where you were going to be lost and you saved yourself from being lost.
I don't think this is a good idea without factoring in the vengeance of the gods. I happen to like order. I like to have reason and order. Chaos is messy. Chaos is battle and blood and people dying.
Your father
Order?
is battle and blood and people dying.
I'm sorry?
Your father is battle and blood and people dying, is he not?
He is.
That's order.
But there is order to it. None of this is simple. And we're having a conversation, please. If you could stay over there.
I understand. I do. But listen to what you're saying. This authority Zeus has over you. You would put your life on the line to make it so that he maintained that authority over you because you are afraid he will use it on you. That is not the life that I know you want for yourself. I know you, Hilarion. You would rather fight someone who would do that to your family to the death so that you could have done so. Unfortunately, he is not here for you to fight.
I don't misunderstand that I understand what you're saying. I do. I think. I may have talked myself into a circle there. My point is, I understand what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't trust this being. Better the devil I know than the one I don't. I don't know this being, and he's telling me to make an enemy of the most powerful beings I know. Because he's right. And better. And all powerful, even though he trapped himself and has apparently trapped himself many times before. To me, that's not a great and powerful being. That's an idiot. It literally admitted that it created this trap for itself, just as it has in the past.
Yeah. And you are in a trap.
And now we are in a trap.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this.
Okay. Okay. So you would just to make it plain and clear, you are afraid of Zeus's wrath, and you will work to maintain Zeus's power.
I do fear the god's wrath. Just as every being that has ever walked shore and has. They are more powerful than us, and so it is not foolish to fear them.
Nope.
Or to fear their wrath.
No, it is reasonable to be afraid of that. Yes.
It is reasonable to be afraid of that.
Yes. And
I do not think that, and if this being is all that more powerful than them, who is to say that it won't assume the position that they have?
Well, it told us its intention was to leave.
It told us its intention. We have no history with this being.
Well, hold on. It also told us that Zeus would attack your island, and you are believing that. That is fueling this entire discussion. So either you don't believe it at all, and everything it has ever shown you is a complete fabrication, or you do believe it, and therefore everything it has told you is not a fabrication.
I think, gentlemen, we are talking in circles. Days and months are passing as we converse upon this.
Yes.
I think the points that we're trying to get at are Hilarion does not want his family destroyed. That is the end point of his discussion.
Okay.
Being it believing chaos or believing Zeus, he wants protection for his family.
Yes.
If that can be provided, is that what you are wanting, Hilarion?
I do want protection from my family, but I want to say that if my family were safe in either instance, if my family were safe in either instance, I would still not trust this being.
While it is not that I don't trust chaos, which is a weird sentence in itself, I cannot participate in the releasing of chaos and bringing that change to Earth. I am too intertwined with those goings-ons. I am sorry, Xenon and Phaedras. I will not help you in this.
Oh, it seems we have a tie.
I thought you weren't listening.
No, I told you I can hear everything regardless. I'm standing over here to be polite.
And we do appreciate that of you. I do hope you understand.
This is a delicate matter.
I hope you at least can understand our points. But do as you
Primordial
will with
chaos.
them.
I understand everything and nothing all at once. It's quite a lovely existence.
You know, he's just an asshole on top of it all.
No,
Like,
he's Hilarion. We're
So
in the
is Zeus.
presence.
yeah, but
I would weigh in. You all have the weapons of your own salvation already.
What do
The
you
star medal, you could go hand to hand with the gods with little, I won't say little difficulty, but at least it'd be a fair fight.
I have no battle to fight with the god.
I know,
Do now.
but I'm just saying, you know.
Just gonna do it for because I can.
Phaedros, do you have anything to add here? I think I've said all I can say. Is there anything that you feel that is different than how I feel or that these others feel?
I believe that it is better for mankind to continue to worship the gods by their own choice than because of the gods threatening them into doing it. And that sounds like the basis of what Chaos is proposing.
Okay. Well, perhaps we leave the mountain and deliberate further.
I'm not going anywhere. Well, depends on what you do, really.
If nothing else, so that our poor crew can not spend months while we are at this impasse.
We can do that.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck regardless.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chaos. Just, my goodness. Xenon's gonna leave. He's gonna leave the top of this mountain and go back where the sun and moon don't move so fast.
Hilarion will
What
take.
town that is where Xenon's going.
What are Makaria and Phaedras doing?
Phaedras will head back down with the rest of the party as well.
Makaria would be the last to leave. I respect you. And I have no other words than that.
If I could tempt you further, and that is what this is, I'm aware of that. This is temptation. I'm offering you gifts and rewards and showing you bad things that could happen and good things that could also happen. The divine ties that inhibit your mother's freedom would be gone as well. She could go where she pleased. The gods could do as they please. Just without getting mortals involved in their whims.
But what of the dead?
They will still travel to the underworld. It will still exist. They'll travel on as they always have.
Would you before you were to go to the void and create more creation, would you be able to provide protection against wrath?
In your efforts to free me, the gods would retaliate. I could provide you a small amount of aid, as you've received from the gods before. But combating those threats would be for you all heroes, just as it always has been.
As I said, I respect you and am in awe of your presence. I will.
None of that's necessary, but thank you.
It is how my mother taught me.
They do like that kind of thing.
I will listen to Xenon prattling on and see if I agree with anything that he says.
Tell
Your
Hilarion that
patience.
Hermes can't stand in the face of Zeus's authority. Even if he wants to. And he does.
I will tell him those words. And Makaria would leave.
And then, like, as you leave, you kind of see just that formless shape, like what stood as a human kind of dissolves back into that like kind of void that sits at the foot of this basin. And I think on that note, we'll leave it till next time in like 3 weeks when we play again.
Oh yeah, because we have
Or
a couple of weeks off.
2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
depending.
Yeah.
But we'll finish this off strong. We'll have our battle, whatever that is, and we'll tell our heroic legends, and then that'll be the end of Aegon. That'll be the end
And
of the
you thought we were gonna be done tonight.
I mean, if we made a decision,
it was close. If you guys had made a decision, we would have been.
Yeah.
We would have been
Yeah.
halfway through heroic legends at this point.
Yeah.
We have a large theological debate that we have to have right now, both on camera and now off camera. We're gonna be here for hours,
We're
guys.
gonna be here.
It's the Patreon
Why?
stuff that will be put up years from now.
Yes.
And no leader.
And no what?
Leader.
No leader.
Oh yeah, no
because that'd
leader on
be
this one. Yeah.
super cheap.
Yep. Yeah. It was like I spend a bond. Fucking now I spend a bond. We just trade bonds until we're all out. It's like I guess that's what we do now.
Yep. You all
That's
wither
why we have
and
so
die
many.
trading bonds back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yeah.
That's why we have so many now.
But no, we'll find out what our heroes choose.
Yep.
I was very excited to see that the name for the Aegon supplement was Realms of Chaos, because that's fun. Chaos with a K. By
Yeah.
the way.
This is a perfect like final decision point because we've had minor odds, but this is the first time I was like, no, this is for all the marbles. This is good. Oh, so good.
I just see. I still ask the question again. How do you follow up this island? How do you do it?
Fair point. Fair.
I can think of one island that kind of just works at any point because it's very like
kind of doesn't matter.
Kind of doesn't matter, yeah. And that'd be like a nice like come down before you go home. But like honestly, like why? Why would you not end with this?
Oh man, that's good. That's good. All right. So folks, we are gonna raid somebody. Oh yeah, Connor's playing some Minecraft tonight.
Hey, yeah.
Let's do that. What's up, Cyberwolf? Cyber tries to survive in Minecraft. All right, cool. Yeah, we're gonna start this raid. All right. This has been really good. This has been great. Oh, I love this kind of stuff. All right. As always, everybody at home, thanks for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday. Doing cool red market stuff. So, as always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.